NBA title series began with the Celtics blowing away the Lakers. Quarterbacked by the magnificent Larry Bird, the Celtics played a near-perfect game. Their scrappy style only further distracted and frustrated the Lakers. Los Angeles helplessly watched as Boston jumped out 1-0. In Game 2, an entirely different Los Angeles team showed up. These were the Lakers of the devastating fast break and the patented Abdul-Jabbar sky hooks. But it was also a team exhibiting a newfound character. The movie stars turned the tables on the longshoremen, and now they did the intimidating. And whenever Bird touched the ball, he found himself surrounded by a sea of blue. Los Angeles tied the series at 1, and it was time to head back west. The Lakers now hold the home court edge. The surf is up on the beaches of Southern California, but today basketball fever prevails. The scene is the Forum for Game 3 of the World Championship. So come on inside the Forum in Los Angeles as the scene for this NBA World Championship now comes from the Atlantic to the Pacific Ocean. 17,500 expected here. They will boo the Celtics and they will cheer the Lakers. And if you want a ringside seat, it'll cost you $100. Back in Boston, they looked at all those championship banners. But here in Los Angeles, they keep their eye on the floor. It's Game 3, the Celtics and the Lakers on CBS. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome. I'm Brent Musburger. As you already know, we have had two completely contrasting games, but now we have a change in the format for this World Championship schedule. Instead of 2-2 and then 1-1-1 in terms of home games the rest of the way, the next 3 games are going to be played right here in Los Angeles this afternoon and then Wednesday night and Friday night. What impact will that have? Well, in the National Hockey League, the Edmonton Oilers have gone home in each of the last 2 seasons under the 2-3-2, and they have never let the other team get out of Edmonton. They have swept away to back-to-back Stanley Cup titles. But if we go back in NBA history to the late 40s and the 50s, 4 times they played this 2-3-2, and in none of the 4 occasions did the team with the middle 3 games at home, as the Lakers have here, win the World Championship. So who knows? Will we go the way of the National Hockey League, or will it be past NBA? Only time will tell. It's time now for the tip-off of Game 3, and let's go down to Dick Stockton and Tommy Heinsohn. Dick?
Thank you very much, Brent, and this is the most boisterous I've ever heard a Forum crowd before the opening tip-off. They are ready for the game today, and Casey Jones, the Celtics coach, told us yesterday the Lakers were not aggressive in Game 2. They were outright dirty. And for the first time in anyone's memory, the Lakers initiated the rough stuff instead of retaliating. And, of course, that has set the mark. Larry Bird talked about what that means for the Celtics. I expect a fierce game off the boards today, and that is the barometer of the aggressiveness in this game. But I know that my partner, Tom Heinsohn, thinks that we will see a lot right off the top in this game in significance.
Very important, Dick, for one team or the other to inflict their will and style on the other. The Lakers want a fast break, up-tempo the game. The Celtics want good selection of shots and make the Lakers play defense with their feet rather than get out on a fast break.
All right, and so the lineups for this game number 3, same as it's been throughout. Parrish, Robert Parrish, the Celtics center, suffered a contusion in the lower back. He is not 100%. But as Red Auerbach said, it's playoff time, and you come to play, whatever ailments you have. There is Parrish, and there is Kareem, who had 30 points in game number 2. We're set to go. Lakers control. Byron Scott. He has been ice cold and has missed his first 7 shots in the first 2 games.
Well, they want to get him off early, Dick, so that he can get and feel like a winner in this series.
So we're now in the test of wills, Tom, the tempo game. Bird. And McHale. Parrish. And a loose ball foul against the Celtics.
Immediately, I see some good blocking out, Dick, by the Lakers on that offensive board, something that they used quite effectively in Game 2.
Earl Strom and Hugh Evans are the officials, and John Vanek is the alternate for this game. Dennis Johnson is guarding Magic Johnson, and Kareem goes inside and is fouled by Robert Parrish. Tommy, to what extent is Parrish's injury suffered in Game 2 going to affect him here?
Well, they count on Parrish really running up and down that court and blocking out and grabbing those rebounds. If he can't run and jump, they're in serious trouble.
Kareem got the ball in good position, and the Lakers start out 4-zip.
They haven't done it with the fast break, however. It's been their half-court game.
And the Laker coaches told us yesterday, we don't feel we can win a half-court game with Boston. Dennis Johnson misses, knocked out of bounds, Laker ball. But already you can see Boston really pounding the offensive board a lot more.
Well, they're double-teaming McHale on the boards. They're sending two guys, the Lakers, to block McHale out.
Again to Kareem. Rambis in the lane. And a loose ball foul, this time against the Lakers and Kurt Rambis.
Pat Riley wants to use as many power forwards as he can to really bother Kevin McHale, put him through a torture test, and Rambis is going to bang hard as he can.
This is where Casey Jones talked about Celtic patience. Inside to McHale. Make that extra pass, and that's one way of stopping the Laker fast break. Worthy coming right back on the baseline. Throws up an air ball. Parrish finds Ainge. 2-on-1 Boston. Bird back to Ainge.
They want to get the ball of Kevin McHale as much as possible. There's not one single Laker that can guard McHale, they feel. Beautiful pass inside, but the patience develops that inside game. And also, that time I saw the Lakers not really rotating quickly down to help out on that play.
The personal foul was on Byron Scott. Danny Ainge, hot hand missing early, had a groin pull after a tremendous first quarter, first game shooting effort, and we're tied. Lakers have won 24 out of 25 at home since February 1st. Worthy, Kareem, and a loose ball foul against the Lakers.
Well, I think the officials may have read the paper about all this banging and scrapping underneath because they're trying to clean it up early. As McHale ends up with Kareem trying to block him out. Sweet move by Kareem to take it off on the weak side, but can't connect.
Rambis with his second personal foul. So we could see McAdoo coming in early if Rambis gets his third. We have a whistle and a push. James Worthy called for the personal foul. And the Lakers have picked up a bunch in the early moments, and we have just under 10 minutes to go in the first period.
Well, Pat Riley's been worried about Worthy making foolish fouls. That was a foolish foul right in the open court.
Bird looked behind him with Worthy, took the shot, gets the rebound, loses the ball. And now a jump between Rambis and Bird. But Larry Bird looks to be far more aggressive on the inside game in the early going here.
Well, they took the outside shot a couple of times, trying to mix it up and keep the Lakers guessing as to where he's going to be.
Controlled by the Lakers. Tie at 4. Each team has dominated in the first half of the first two games. Celtics by 30 in game 1. Lakers led by 18 at halftime Thursday night. Kareem with his second basket.
But they're not getting the fast break going that they count on so much, these Lakers, early in this game. So it appears to me in the very early minutes that the Celtics are controlling the tempo.
A lot of people don't think Kareem can come back with another sensational game at his age. What do you think?
I'll tell you, it was a Hall of Fame game in itself. Anybody who play that type of game at his age automatically qualified. I don't know if he can do it at 38. It's a real challenge.
They bring Parrish all the way up on top. McHale banging with Rambis. They double and triple him. and he scores anyway. The impossible matchup is Kevin McHale.
Well, they're trying to take Kareem Abdul-Jabbar defensively out of the play by moving Parrish way up high. He was causing them some problems in game 2 because he was hanging below the foul line and double teaming and blocking some shots. So an adjustment made by the Celtics.
Johnson going in. Magic Johnson hasn't really gotten going in that kind of brand of basketball yet in this series. Parrish with a baseline shot. And we have a pushing foul as well, a loose ball foul.
Went on Kevin McHale, I believe.
The basket does not count. The basket counts. And the foul is on McHale, his first. The score is tied at 8. Two-man game with Worthy and Magic, and a 3-second violation against the Lakers.
A lot of early fouls here. That could be to the benefit of the Lakers, however, as they're going to use a lot more people than the Celtics want to use. Particularly, they want to keep Kevin McHale in the game, the Celtics.
Bird coming off a screen. Parrish. And here are the Lakers. 5-on-2. Dennis Johnson comes right back for the Celtics. And now the game turns into the track meet that the Lakers want so badly. Worthy. All alone, Rambis. Celtics now pushing it up.
But Parrish and McHale getting a little bit tired early.
Dennis Johnson is short. Rambis, who is averaging 8 rebounds coming into this game. Magic. Crashing the boards. We are having a fierce battle off the glass here in this first period. It's still Celtic ball. But look at that hustle by the 38-year-old Kareem.
When do you see a guy this size come up as the middleman of a fast break? Only when you're in the 3rd game of the finals here. What a play by Jabbar.
And he was reaching for the steal. Bird with a left-handed shot. Keep in mind he has bone chips on the right elbow, plus that finger injury that's been jammed. And the Celtics have the lead for the first time, and the rebounding battle is close. Scott trying to get on track. Still can't. Bird's a trailer here. And Bird is ice cold off the start of this game. Scott, with the Celtics back on defense, is fouled and will go to the line and shoot. Smart to take it all the way in, Tommy.
Well, the Celtics were still retreating, and he has that great burst of speed to take it to the hoop and uses it.
Celtics by 2 in a high-powered game.
Where I come from, folks stand proud and tall. They'll look you right in the eye. A place where pride is worth a whole lot more than money can buy. Where people care about their family. Where laughter's sincere. Where your word is your word. A friend's a friend and Miller's the beer. Miller's made the American way. Born and brewed in the USA, just as proud as the people who are drinking it today. Miller's made the American way.
Miller contains no additives, no preservatives. Miller Beer. Purity you can see, quality you can taste.
Miller's made the American way.
Wherever you go in America, there's one source of starting power the weather's found tough to beat. The Sears Die Hard. From the original Die Hard battery to the newest, most powerful Die Hard ever made for your car. In Credicell, Die Hard is still the replacement battery more Americans have confidence in than any other. Think of it as a recommendation from a few million of your neighbors.
There's more for your life at Sears.
The NBA on CBS. Today's championship game from Inglewood, California is sponsored by Miller Beer. Miller made the American way since 1855. Mazda and the full line of sophisticated Mazda products. And by Sears, where you'll find great values. There's more for your life at Sears.
6:31 remaining in the first period here in an enthusiastic forum in Inglewood, where the Celtics with their first lead of the game over the Lakers 12-10, and these teams are still feeling each other out strategy-wise in this opening quarter.
The matchup that was so effective in game 2 of having Magic Johnson guard Danny Ainge allowed him to get in the open court once the Lakers gained possession of the ball. The Celtics have adjusted to that. DJ couldn't get to him quite quick enough in game 2. Now they're letting Ainge stay with him until they can conveniently release him, or he can conveniently release him to DJ. So that ought to slow down that advance of the ball of the Lakers a little bit more than it did in game 2.
Yet the Laker guards have been able to penetrate when they've seen the opening so far.
Well, I think that's the effect of Robert Parrish really not being able to get down there and choke up the middle as effectively as he did in game 1 because of the injury.
1 out of 2 for Scott. Celtics by a point. McHale looking into Larry Bird, and he had Kareem, but it was Parrish who tipped the ball in. Kurt Rambis claiming offensive goaltending.
When Bird sees Jabbar coming at him, he's just going to throw the ball up there. He knows Parrish is going to steam for the rebound.
Parrish will have a big height advantage on someone. Steal, Dennis Johnson, and it's a 4-on-2 for the Celtics. But Byron Scott picks the pocket of Dennis Johnson, and this is all Lakers. Pat Riley, who has the best one-loss ratio in NBA history now with a 46-19 coaching record.
And that was smart of Kevin McHale not to go and make that block.
All 5 Celtics have scored so far. Rambis fronts McHale and pays for it, and Kevin McHale has 6.
Celtics have taken the opposite side of the floor out of the game for the Lakers and enabling McHale to work one-on-one.
Double on Kareem, but he scores anyway. I don't know if he'll get 30, but he's got 10 already. He's a third of the way there, and he's hit his last 4 shots. No basket, and the foul on Kareem, fouling Robert Parrish. That's number 1 on Abdul-Jabbar. And Bob McAdoo is in. What's the significance of this first substitution?
They're hoping, the Lakers, to use the likes of McAdoo, Kupchak, Rambis to have 24 fouls and totally put Kevin McHale through a torture test of aggressive play, banging him on the board. So McAdoo, very important right now to play McHale tough.
McAdoo, of course, is on the spot in his own right. He's in his option year. He has not done well off the bench in scoring. He's shooting 35%, and perhaps his future with the Lakers is in doubt. And the Lakers have not gotten a point out of their front line. Boston by 3. Under 5 to play, first period. McAdoo, good start for him. That's what they want from him.
Pat Riley said, we need points from Bob McAdoo. Bird is gambling off him too much.
McHale gets it in low. Blocked by Kareem, but a foul. Bob McAdoo will have his hands full against Kevin McHale, and the foul is against Robert.
That time, the rest of the Celtics did not spread out quite far enough, and it allowed Kareem to get down there and help out on that block.
Kevin McHale was 3 for 8 from the free throw line in game 2, and in fact the free throw shooting for both teams in the series has been well below par.
Well, Kevin McHale is really going to be under the gun in this series. Look at him. He needs a shave, and he's going to play like a longshoreman, or have to play like a longshoreman in this series, because he is getting the most attention.
Casey Jones waited 8 years for another shot as a head coach, and he's done everything he'd want. 60 wins, 2 years in a row, 1 world title, looking for another. 4.5 to play, first period. Celtics by 3. Kareem, bad pass to Worthy off his leg.
Big double team that time by the Celtics.
Boston in the half-court patient offense with 13 on the shot clock. Really a test of wills with offensive philosophy. But then the Celtics turn it over, and McHale says my fault as he comes up floor.
But the Celtics are playing at the pace they want to play, far more than the Lakers are.
Right. McAdoo. 2 in a row. Bob McAdoo hits his first 2 shots, and the Celtics lead is down to 1. Dennis Johnson comes right back, and Tommy Johnson has been shooting under 38%. A lot of team players who haven't been shooting well trying to get on track, including Byron Scott, who still has it. Lead pass, still Boston ball, last touch by Magic Johnson.
I tell you, the Celtics are making smart, fast break moves. That time, a little bit foolish pass, as there was another man that was wide open. That doesn't happen often with Larry Bird.
The Lakers call a timeout. They led 4-0, but Boston has come back and held the lead most of this first period.
Here in the driver's seat, I can tell you real quickly if I'm driving a true road car or something else. This Mazda 626 lives up to the name. Nice, willing overhead cam engine, smooth shifting 5-speed, even adjustable suspension. This car really likes to run. This is one refined road car. It's also fun to drive.
And at $88.45, it also lives up to the value you expect from Mazda. Mazda 626.
No matter how fast life gets, no matter how hard you work, Right Guard can help keep you smelling good for up to 24 hours. That's protection. Right Guard protection.
You work hard, you need Right Guard.
You're looking at pictures of a baby's first steps, of a newlywed couple embarking on their honeymoon, of a daughter graduating from college. A lot of these pictures will turn out fine. Some won't turn out at all. But with a Polaroid instant camera, you know you've got the shot, because you see it moments after you take it. So instead of coming back with hopes, come back with pictures. Polaroid instant cameras do what no other kind of camera can do.
It's a glamour race for 3-year-olds, the 117th running of the Belmont Stakes, live from New York's Belmont Park next Saturday on CBS Sports.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar needs 10 points to become the all-time leading playoff scorer. Jerry West, the general manager of the Lakers, has the lead, but not for long. Kareem has already scored 10 points in the game, 10 more, and he will surpass Jerry West. And there is the ageless Abdul-Jabbar, who last year broke Wilt Chamberlain's record, had a book coming out, rebuilt his home after a fire a couple of years ago, broke up with his girlfriend, and frankly admitted he didn't have the concentration that he had this year, and he played younger this season.
I tell you, he played the greatest game I've ever seen played by a man that age in a key game.
3:22 to go in the first period. Bird, defended now by McAdoo. Kareem knocks the ball away from Parrish. They try to get it inside to Robert. Dennis Johnson finds Magic.
And that's the tough job for Dennis to find Magic at times.
McAdoo, who's hit his first 2, banks this one in.
Larry Bird is a free safety. He gambles, and Riley wants McAdoo to take those shots and hit them. He's going to be wide open a lot.
Parrish with a sky hook of his own. 8 points for Robert Parrish. McHale also has 8 for the Celtics.
No limp in his game today, Robert Parrish.
Key thing is whether he could jump, and he's shown he can do that. McAdoo again. Bird's going to have to play him much tougher now.
I think they're keying on Bird right now, both Jabbar and everybody else on the Lakers.
Bird gets free inside. And McAdoo and McHale are going at it now. Somebody better step in, and Jimmy Rogers, the Laker assistant, and the officials bring a halt to this in a hurry.
One of the reasons, Dick, is that when you start platooning guys to use their fouls against one player, he gets a little angry about it. And McHale knew that happened in game 2, and now he's trying to sort of stem the tide.
McAdoo still wants to get at McHale, and Earl Strom will have none of that.
Here's Bird making a good move, and a little fake. And there's McAdoo coming over the top. And trying to get up the court, McAdoo takes a swing at him. So that's just that little aggressiveness showing by both players right now.
This is where the officials have to make a definitive move to control this game, because it is still early with 2:15 to go. A double foul has been called against McAdoo and against Kevin McHale. No shooting.
That affects the Celtics more than the Lakers.
Michael Cooper is coming to the ball game, and he'll be all over Larry Bird. Cooper was an offensive star as well in game number 2 with 22. McAdoo going in. Kareem. 12 for Kareem, and he needs 8 to break Jerry West's record.
Well, they're getting physical, the Lakers, much like they did in game 2.
Johnson puts a fake on Magic Johnson. And getting position is Kareem, and the Lakers, trailing by 1, will try to take the lead with a minute and a half to go in the first.
I'll tell you, this is really inflicting will for will. Both teams have it for a couple of minutes, and then it changes. Terrific.
Kareem, Cooper. Long skyhook at the 24-second buzzer. 1:10 to go in the first period. Bird in the corner. Kareem rebounds, and L.A. can retake the lead again. McAdoo. Under a minute to go in the first period. And this is the tightest first period of action we have seen in this series.
Are they looking for Bob McAdoo?
They brought him in early and wanted to get him off, and he did, to the tune of 8 points at this time. 5 on the shot clock and a foul against the Lakers. They are in the penalty, and so the Celtics will shoot 1 plus the penalty.
I think, Dick, that the officials right now know that there's anticipated tough ball game with physical hand checking, and they just called it on Michael Cooper trying to clean it up.
Kareem goes out, and Mitch Kupchak, who had a tremendous impact in his second game with 15 strong minutes, 5 rebounds and 5 points. And if you want to talk about this game moving up a notch in intimidation, it could with Mitch in there.
Well, Mitch is a guy that was really throwing his body around in game 2. In fact, Casey Jones cited him for the real dirty play of trying to take Robert Parrish's head off.
Cedric Maxwell, who has been little used to the Celtics, he's not at full strength, replaces McHale, and the crowd lets them know how they feel about him.
Maxwell, that's a key move by Casey Jones. He's hopeful that Maxwell will regain his form. He needs his inside play.
Larry Bird, 1 of 2 from the line. Celtics lead by 2 points with half a minute to play now. Against Maxwell. McAdoo. But there's Kupchak. He had the layup and he couldn't do it. And now the Celtics play for the last shot. Celtics waited until the last minute for their first substitution. Pat Riley went 3 men into the Laker bench. 5 seconds. Bird out of the pack. And that'll do it. 1 second to go. Cooper fires it up. And the Boston Celtics, in the closest first period of this series, have their biggest lead, 29-25. And a lot more action coming up from the Forum.
For all those people who never could warm up to computers, Lotus introduces Jazz. Jazz, the business software Macintosh was invented for.
Now that I know that the cost of tuition isn't going to sideline my college plans, I can really enjoy my last year of high school.
Introducing the new GI Bill and the new Army College Fund. If you qualify, you can sign up now, join in July, and earn over $25,000 for college while you serve America.
all that you can be.
Find out more about the new GI Bill and the new Army College Fund from your Army recruit.
Find your future in the Army.
Tonight we're gonna make it happen. Tonight we'll put all other things aside. We'll have a good time, baby, don't you worry. And if we're still playing around, boy, that's just fine. Let's get excited. Oh, we just can't hide it. No, no, no. I'm about to lose control and I think I like it. I'm so excited. And I just can't hide it. I want you.
America's game. It's fantastic. Dick Stockton and Tom Heinsohn back at the Forum in Inglewood, and the Celtics had the last shot. And how did Larry Bird play Michael Cooper to get that last basket?
Well, Bird only needs just an instant to get this shot off, but watch how nicely he sets Cooper up for the bigger Celtic. I believe it's Parrish to pick him off. Takes a step to the hoop, and then there he is popping out. Plenty of time to get that shot off. That's all Bird needs, is just an instant.
Well, that drop step has been terrific because no one really has been able to defend against that shot that Larry Bird, one of the many variety of shots he had.
Well, what made it work even more effectively, Dick, is remember the first ball game, he got 4 layups off that same type of action. They were trying to play on the top of the pick, and he reversed it and got layups.
Scott Wedman has come in the game as the rebounding story is even, as the game is practically even. Boston by 4 in the second period. Scott Wedman, a good outside shooter, had a record-breaking first game, hitting 11 of 11 from the field. Gone now for 3. Wedman set an NBA record with 11 three-point shots in a row this season, and he's 5 for 5 for the series.
And when he hits that first one, he's liable not to miss the rest of the day.
Mitch Kupchak with a baseline shot from 18 feet. Ainge guarded by Worthy on a switch. Wedman defended by Magic Johnson. McHale now has Kupchak with him, and McHale scores. He has 10 points to lead the Celtics. Kareem's 12 leads the Lakers.
Kupchak is, McHale is much more mobile than Kupchak. He can get a shot off anytime he wants down there, and Worthy is having his day here too.
With Kupchak's knees, most people are more mobile at this point. Ainge. Maxwell with the offensive rebound. Dennis Johnson. 6 for Dennis Johnson. 7-point lead for the Boston Celtics. Less than 2 minutes gone by in the second period.
Now hustling back these Celts.
McAdoo misses. McHale with the board.
And McHale's tired, and now it'd be a good time for the Lakers to push it right back at the Celtics.
Maxwell draws the foul inside. Cedric Maxwell was the hero of Game 7 of last year's championship, and he has been not much of effectiveness for the Celtics, but it looks like he's going to play a role here.
Kupchak can't run the court as effectively as McHale, but this is what he's in here to do, to block off McHale and really put a body on him, and he's doing it. And Maxwell at the line, Dick, is very important for him to run up and get in that low post quickly. He's a very effective player if they get him the ball before the defense gets time to double team.
Up to 9 now, the Celtic lead. They're trying to post Kupchak. Magic Johnson has a shot blocked by McHale. McAdoo, who was hot early, then grew cold, now has 10 points in the game. And a foul against the Celtics.
That's only the second foul on Kevin McHale, though, Dick. They announced during the end of the quarter, watch here as McHale is being moved by Kupchak and then moves back, and Kupchak pulls the old act job and gets the foul call on McHale.
They call double technical fouls on those two, so McHale has 2 personals at this point.
Legends of the NBA, the greats remember, sponsored by Schick.
It was a team that relied on each and every one to play their role, to sacrifice for an individual, and it was a smart, intelligent club. What made it so special was just that real enjoyment that when you went out there on the court, you were going to be a surgeon and perform a nice operation that night and just cut the other fellow apart quietly and nicely.
How many Schicks can you get from one disposable Schick?
Monday, Schick, Schick. Schick. Tuesday, Schick, Schick. Schick. Wednesday, Schick, Schick. Thursday, Schick. Friday.
No one makes a sharp, long-lasting disposable quite like
Saturday, Schick. Sunday, Schick, Schick.
How many Schicks does your disposable give you?
A glance back to Game 3 of last year's championship. The Lakers returned home and rebounded from the disastrous overtime loss in the previous game. Magic Johnson led the way with 14 and handed out 21 assists. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar dominated in the middle, scoring 24 as the Lakers rolled to a 137-104 victory and a 2-1 series lead. And a different characteristic to this third game as all series take on different forms. The Celtics have been leading after the Lakers scored the first 4 points, 38-31. And how would you look at the give and take of this game at this point?
Well, I think the Celtics played the better part of the game right now because they controlled the pace of the game the way they wanted. They never let the Greyhounds of the Lakers get out and chase the rabbit, Magic Johnson. So I'd say very much the game in control as far as the Celtics concerned.
Quinn Buckner has come in the ball game for the Celtics, the veteran guard who specializes on defense. Byron Scott returns to the game for the Lakers. There is Scott, who has been cold after a brilliant season. Magic Johnson goes to the bench, having scored 2 points. 9:40 to go in the second period. Worthy going to work against Maxwell, crashing the boards, and they're going to call a loose ball foul against L.A., and that'll be against Mitch Kupchak.
Well, they're really working McHale, I'll tell you that, in every way possible.
Kupchak is guarding McHale, and so McHale's going to see some muscle here. He's fouled.
Well, that was a terrific pass to McHale right along the baseline by Wedman. And the lack of mobility by Kupchak never allowed him to get back into the play. Here you're going to see him on top. Wedman, beautiful pass, and Kupchak can't get back at the play.
Foul was on Kupchak, his second. The Lakers have gone to the line only twice, the Celtics 11 times. People would say, hey, what's the matter with the officials? Aren't they calling an even game?
But they're using up those fouls on purpose, the Lakers, I believe.
And the Lakers are not getting inside as much as they like.
Exactly.
McAdoo popping from outside. Kupchak with a good move inside. It's 40-33. The Lakers certainly within striking distance as we wind down to 9 minutes remaining in the second period. Scott is on Buckner. Lakers going with a lot of second liners. Celtics are now second liners. McHale and Ainge are the only starters in the game. That'll be the foul. It's called on Mitch Kupchak, so he picks up 3, and now Kareem will check back in the game, and Mitch goes out.
Well, I'll tell you right now, they are working that McHale as hard as they can, playing very physical with him, hoping that he will tire out in the second half. L.A. has committed 7 fouls guarding McHale right now, and the Celtics are trying to capitalize on him early by going to him in a low post.
Ray Williams has come out into the ball game for the first time for the Celtics, and Robert Parrish returns, and Maxwell perhaps gave the Celtics more than he's given them in a long time.
Well, he looked like his timing was there, and the Celtics looked like they had confidence to give him the ball.
So now the Celtics in the backcourt defending have Buckner and Ray Williams, their second-line guards, against Cooper and Byron Scott. Kareem is back in there, the starting centers. Finally, they'll call the foul on Quinn Buckner of the Celtics. That's their first team foul of the second period.
Well, the Celtics aren't going out and challenging people normally, but Buckner loves to go up and get underneath you and make you pay.
McAdoo working on McHale, who lets him go right by for an easy layup, and McAdoo has 12 now. Wedman wide open. You're right, when Wedman hits the first, who knows how many he'll hit in a row.
The Lakers not back fast on defense that time.
Worthy gets the ball, good position, try to jam it, missed the shot. Worthy goes right in against the big meat of Parrish and McHale, and a good move by James Worthy. Celtics have maintained a 7-point lead, however, and here's a turnover, 3-on-1. And the foul, it'll be a two-shot foul against Quinn Buckner with Worthy going in.
Well, when one of the guards of the Celtics penetrates and there's a miscue and the Lakers gain possession, that leaves only one man back normally to protect against potentially three. Tough job that time by Buckner, and he made the good foul.
And the Lakers don't normally get fast breaks through turnovers, do they?
No, they don't. They're not very aggressive themselves defensively, so if you throw the ball away, you're just playing the game into the Lakers' hands. They're not aggressive defensively, these Lakers. They don't go out and press.
That's always been the bone of contention for Pat Riley. No rebounds, no rings. Play defense. We all know how great they are offensively. McHale inside. He knocked Worthy down. The crowd wanted a foul, but Earl Strom was there. And now McHale has 16 in the game.
And he's weathered, what, about 8 fouls?
He's had the entire L.A. Army on him today. Kareem. Parrish blocks it. 8-point lead for the Celtics. Their biggest lead was 9. A basket here will up it into double figures. 7:20 to go in the first half. Ray Williams. Parrish. And the Celtics have opened up a 10-point lead now to Pat Riley's consternation.
Well, that's what Casey wants from Ray Williams. Good penetration and judgment on when to pass.
McAdoo gets the loose ball. There's an open man. Worthy. Magic will be coming back in the game as Pat Riley wants to bring more of the front liners in. Doesn't want the Celtics to get too far in front. They lead by 8 now. Now Magic goes back to the bench. Buckner looking for Parrish. Stepped on the line. Laker ball. Larry Bird will come back in for the Boston Celtics, but we will have a timeout. The Celtics lead 48-40. 6:43 remain. They've been in control.
Off while we wear these skirts. Hush up. We incognito. I thought we in Scotland to get some illegal distance ball. Like that? Hold on there, laddies. What ball you playing?
The longest ball. Spalding Top Flight. And Top Flight XL. Only way to drive those big dog legs.
Top Flight XL, and the newest longest ball, the 492 Dimple Top Flight Plus.
What do you say about our legs?
Who are those twits?
Energizer Halogen, a light so bright, so white, no ordinary light can match it. The Energizer Halogen flashlight, up to 300% more light than ordinary flashlights. And it's Energizer rugged, even waterproof. The Energizer Halogen flashlight, so bright, so incredibly bright, it outshines ordinary flashlights, up to 300% brighter. From Energizer.
Nissan Sentra owners love to talk about their cars.
I own a 1985 Nissan Sentra, which is bright, perky, red, cute, and I love it.
The Nissan Sentra all around is a very well-engineered car.
And the car has exceeded everything that we expected out of it.
I'm 6 feet tall,
and small cars are sometimes a problem for me. The Sentra is a different story. It's big on the inside.
Sentra, America's most popular import.
Try and take it away from me.
The name is Nissan.
Sunday.
I can be a devastating enemy.
Has Jessica Fletcher finally met her match?
I haven't got a clue.
James Coco Gaston, Murder, She Wrote.
Pat Riley has been in the finals in his 4 years as head coach and looking to win another world championship.
That's quite a record, though, for one man to be involved in 4 finals in a row. The only guy I can remember doing that is Red Auerbach.
Magic Johnson's come back in the game, Tommy, and he has 2 points and 4 assists so far and really hasn't gotten unleashed.
Well, I'm not so concerned about his scoring as the assists for the Lakers. The Celtics have been effectively able to keep the ball out of his hands and not allow him to dish it off on that fast break.
Kareem with a skyhook. He is now 6 points away from the all-time NBA playoff scoring record. His boss is in the audience, the man who currently holds the mark. More important, the Lakers are trailing the Celtics by 6. Wedman misses. Byron Scott leads a break. 3-on-3. Scott continues to be in a shooting slump. It was last touched by Worthy. Scott is 1 for 4 today, but he'll keep shooting and has been told that by everyone.
That's the way to treat a shooter. You don't tell him to stop shooting because he misses a couple.
Turnover, Lakers. Have it. Magic all the way. And he'll go to the line and shoot and almost got a chance for a 3-point play.
When you let Magic get up to the foul line before he reaches a defender, you are done, man. Because he hits open people. Right now, the Celtics, when they see him coming, also have to be concerned about the wingmen who can shoot jump shots, so they virtually leave a path to the basket for him.
Foul was on Quinn Buckner, his 3rd personal foul. Celtics right now have their starting team in there as Danny Ainge comes back in. And the Lakers have their starting team with the exception of McAdoo, who has 12 for Rambis, who started. Down to 4 now. .545 remaining in the first half. Bird over Worthy. He did not get a good shot off. Worthy was in his face. Magic Johnson goes in. Doesn't get the roll, and the steal by Johnson. And a technical foul has been called. Magic Johnson is arguing with Earl Strom.
Here it comes up, makes a great basket. Something he's been trying to do. McHale comes up with the rebound, a steal by Magic. That comes back for the real cram. McHale gets out of his way, and then a little argument ensued.
Technical is on Magic Johnson. Larry Bird gets the free throw on the tee.
Here's what happened afterwards. McHale starts to come up the court and gets in his way, and he's allowed to do that. And Magic says, get out of my way, hit him in back of the head.
Meanwhile, the Lakers had run off 8 in a row before Bird hit the technical. And with 5:24 remaining in the first half, it's 49-46. And Tommy, you're right, the pace has, I guess, favored the Celtics, but the Lakers are like waiting in the weeds, so to speak, ready to ambush.
Well, as soon as Magic came in there, he came in with a vengeance to get that break started.
Over the years, we've watched old number 51 retire a lot of ball carriers, but tonight we're going to retire him. So let's do it his way. Turn over those wine glasses and bring on the Lowenbrow.
The beer will pour. Must say something more somehow.
Just remember, if you guys start messing up, I'm coming back.
Tonight, let it be Lowenbrow.
Enter the world of
Alpine Mobile Electronics, car audio systems, mobile cellular telephones, mobile security systems, all with quality that could only come from one source.
Alpine, nice touch.
Lamborghini has the Alpine touch.
Introducing the amazing Minolta Maxim, the world's easiest SLR, because it alone has built-in automatic focusing. Look, Maxim's autofocus lets you get perfect shots before others can even focus. Change lenses. Maxim again gets the shots that used to get away.
Only the human eye focuses faster.
Minolta Maxim.
Only from the mind of Minolta.
5:24 till halftime, and to tell you what's on tap, Brent Musburger with a rundown.
Coming up at halftime, we're going to travel to Italy, where Pat O'Brien found America's game, and the fans there are even more passionate than they are here in the U.S.
I've been cursed at, things thrown at me, spit on, insulted, everything, you know. So I wear my raincoat to some games when I know they're going to spit on me.
And our live guest, Denver Nugget coach Doug Moe. He knows all about playing over in Italy. All that and more at the half.
And at the Forum, you always have your array of stars and celebrities and sports figures, such as this man, Al Davis, the managing general partner of the Los Angeles Raiders, who's here just about every game. And I guess, Tommy, when he sits in those front row seats, he better be here for what they call.
Nice man.
Larry Bird is shooting only 3 for 10 so far in this series. In this game, that is. He's under 45% in the series. Dennis Johnson in and out. And the Lakers can come within one. Magic Johnson, you're right, he's coming with a vengeance, playing with a lot of zeal out there now.
But Danny Ainge is getting to him quickly. He was open in game 2 coming up the court. Now Ainge is starting to slow him down.
6 on the shot clock, Worthy in the lane. And it's a one-point game. There's another star. I could probably show you 100 of them. McHale, double team. Parrish on the other end. Basket counts and a foul. Robert Parrish. What did Pat Riley tell us about the knack the Celtics have on the other side for getting those offensive
They
plays?
are really terrific, the Celtics, on weak side rebounds. When Kareem goes to double team like that, that leaves Parrish against a smaller player, and he's trying to take advantage of it just like this.
It takes a lot of timing, I would think, too, to know when the ball's going up.
Well, it takes a little intelligence to say your man's leaving you. I better head for the boards, and Parrish is a pretty intelligent player.
Celtics by 3, 4:20. Byron Scott.
That's got to be a morale booster for Byron Scott.
51-50. Parrish surrounded. Magic out to meet Ames. The Lakers on an aggressive half-court defense, and they call the Laker foul. They're in the penalty, and the Celtics will shoot. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, second personal.
Well, they have extended the Laker defense somewhat, hitting the outside shot, but now the outside shots are breaking down, so they're being able to go inside and jam against Parrish and McHale. So that's the reason that Jabbar got that foul. He was up close, and people were coming at Parrish, but not quite quick enough.
Parrish misses the second free throw. Lakers can tie with under 4 minutes to go. Worthy is fouled, and LA can tie it up. Jamal Wilkes has to sit and watch. He had ligament damage after missing last year and not being effective in the championship series, and Jamal Wilkes has had to just sit and bring his team along as Maxwell comes in. 3 fouls on Kevin McHale.
Now, this is something that hasn't happened in any of the prior series. Get Kevin McHale or Robert Parrish in early foul trouble. Now we're going to see how good Maxwell can be in this series. Very important for Maxwell to play well for the Celtics. Otherwise, the Lakers can go ahead here.
McHale has scored 16 points and sits down with a 3. James Worthy. So we have our first tie since the game was knotted at 10-10. Ames looking for Parrish. Has to go to Maxwell. 7 on the shot clock. Ames shoots with 3 on the clock. And they'll jump it up. Larry Bird and Kareem.
Excellent defense by the Lakers, Dick. The rotation was perfect. Everybody moved their feet like they were on a fast break.
And that's the way they played it in game 2. Bird has scored 8. Kareem at the point guard, handling the ball to Magic. Out of bounds. Still Lakers ball, and they can break a tie with a basket here.
Well, James Worthy, they might just go a lot to James Worthy here.
On the out pass, Ames steals it. And Danny Ainge is fouled. Byron Scott with a second personal foul, and Ainge could put the Celtics back out ahead. The kind of a game in which the tempo is so important. Each team is trying to pull that tug of war to get it their way, it seems.
I'll tell you, Boston is fast breaking when they have the opportunity, but LA likes to force the pace, and they're having difficulty doing it because Magic doesn't have the ball an awful lot. The Celtics are keeping it out of his hands, so they're going more and more to their half-court offense. Kind of a role reversal.
But the Lakers are hanging in there with it, so they can't be all that disappointed. Hey. 3 minutes to go in the first half. Kareem, McAdoo is open. And a foul before the shot. It's on the Celtics. Their 15th foul. And the Lakers will go to the line to shoot 1 in the penalty. Personal foul is on Parrish's second. Kevin McHale, who's on the bench with 3 fouls, is the Celtics' leading scorer. Kareem is within 6 of breaking the all-time playoff scoring mark. And a timeout called, 2:55 on the clock, a 22nd timeout. The series will continue here at the Forum in Inglewood in the 2-3-2 arrangement. Game number 4 will be Wednesday night, live 9 o'clock Eastern. The Celtics against the Lakers, and of course this game is so important, the game we're seeing right now, Tom, because theoretically the Lakers, with winning all their games, could close it out.
Well, before the Celtics got to enjoy the supposed home court advantage, the 4 games, the Lakers could close it out here. I think the psychology of this thing is pretty difficult, but the Celtics right here have come in and recognized the fact that they got to break into this 3-game set, and they're trying to establish it right here in this first game.
The Celtics naturally want to win at least 1 in LA. They naturally like to win them all, but that may not be feasible. They don't want to go into game 5, though, having to win to stay alive.
I think that's where the psychology is a tremendous advantage to that team playing 3 in a row, if they're in that position to close out now. 3rd game at home. This place would be utterly in pandemonium.
I have never seen, now we've seen some silent treatments here at the Forum for games earlier this year, but this crowd,
I don't think it'd be there if they were about to beat 1 game away from beating the Celtics at home.
The decibel limit has been sky high in this game at the Forum. Larry Bird hits. He has been off in his shooting. Bird now with 10 points in the game, and the Celtics lead by 1. Kareem has 16 points. Worthy. McAdoo stuck inside.
Well, when Bird has to guard Worthy, that's a matchup that the Lakers want.
Worthy is on Bird. Screen for Parrish. Bird couldn't hit 2 in a row now on the Lakers with 2:10 to go and a 1-point lead. Scott. 3-point shot by Byron Scott. Blocked. Anderson's shot is blocked, and here they come. Biggest lead of the game. And the Forum crowd on their feet. Larry Bird working against Magic. And it's still Boston ball. Byron Scott is on fire. He has scored 6 points here in the second period, 9 in the game, and has turned on this crowd even more.
When he hit that three-pointer, there wasn't a Celtic within 15 feet of him. They forgot about Byron Scott.
And a foul before the shot. Kareem with number 3 on Abdul-Jabbar, and Mitch Kupchak immediately checks back into the ball game. Kareem will go out. He has scored 16 and will get a hand.
Normally, Kareem isn't that physical trying to guard anybody, but he's taking the challenge to be physical too. This is going to hurt the Lakers because he's missed the inside offense. Picks apart your defense with his passes and can also score. So.
Well, it's 1:18 to go, so he'll sit out the rest of the half, and if the Lakers can hold the fort right now and he gets some little time, it may not be all that bad in the second half.
No, it won't be, but they like to have the psychological edge going into the half on the upbeat. If the Celtics can claw back to even, it's a different psychological thing in the locker room.
We've seen in a lot of the playoff series what it means to put a string of points together just before the half. Worthy.
McHale can guard Worthy better than Bird. Bird can't jump high enough to give Worthy trouble.
Worthy has all of his 13 points here in the second period. Parrish blocked by McAdoo. Parrish again. Quiets the crowd a bit, and Robert Parrish has 17. He is the Celtic high scorer.
Oh, he's accepted the challenge of coming out here playing with an injury.
So is Maxwell. McAdoo misses. Bird the rebound with 36 seconds to go. Celtics trail those Lakers by 4. Scott looking to run. Magic. Worthy. And the crowd would have erupted again if that ball had gone in.
Well, they're going right at somebody they don't want Worthy, the Celtics, to go up and cram the ball through. So they're very alert to try and get him before he takes off and can cram it through. They feel with him stuffing the ball through on those fast breaks, it's a morale builder for both himself and the Laker team.
Foul was on Danny Ainge, his second personal. So until this game, we had yet to see Worthy at his best. We're seeing him that way in this one.
Well, the more Bird has to guard Worthy, the more I think he'll be involved offensively in their game plans. Bird just has great difficulty guarding that quicker player who can play in the low post.
Bird has 10. Worthy now with 15 points. 6-point lead for the Lakers. 20 seconds to go in the first half. Lakers are running, and it shows there. LA will have the lead at halftime after Boston led by 4 at the quarter. 7 seconds. 4 seconds to go. But the Forum crowd likes this first half, and they show it now. Points for the Lakers in the second period.
Drivers have come to us. They believe in liberty, Liberty Mutual Insurance.
I'm a safe driver, so I shopped around for car insurance. Liberty Mutual gave me the best protection and saved me money, too. I believe in liberty.
America believes in
Everybody, it's Uncle Joe.
We all like to spend the weekends with family and friends. That's why AT&T saves you 60% on long distance every weekend, and they don't stop with savings. They give you service, too. Calling from anywhere to anywhere. Operator service, calls that sound as close as you feel, and 60% off.
joke. Knew you'd make it somehow.
Savings and service. That's AT&T. The more you hear, the better we sound. AT&T, the right choice.
The essence of hitting. George Brett.
Some guys say it's the rhythm, reading the pitch. For me, it's a feeling that says I'm going downtown.
The essence of shaving.
This is Atra by Gillette. It pivots so the twin blades stay on your beard longer. But what Atra is all about is the feeling that says you just got Gillette's best shave.
Gillette, the essence of shaving.
Observe the perfect crime. Costly energy escaping on all sides. What's this? Pink Owens Corning insulation. Yes, it's saving money in the attic, saving money in the walls, in the crawl space and basement. The perfect crime. Solved by myself. And pink fiberglass insulation.
Owens Corning. Our building products put your house in the pink.
We are back here in the Los Angeles Forum, the best first half of any championship game when you take into consideration the performance of both teams. Lakers leading Boston 65-59. I'm Brett Musburger along with Doug Moe, the coach of the Denver Nuggets. And Doug, I got to congratulate you on your timing. You signed a new contract, and now the change of ownership. Sidney Schlenker comes in from Houston. You know when to sign that contract.
No, I'm not as dumb as people think I am, Brent. We're going from a good ownership situation to another good ownership situation, and we're pretty happy about it.
All right, I want to talk to you a little bit about European-style basketball, also what we've seen here in the first half. But I want to get everybody up to date on what has gone on in the world of sports, because it has been a very busy weekend. Many of you perhaps do not know that the New Jersey Generals of the United States Football League have lost their heart and soul, perhaps for the season. Doug Flutie suffered this injury last night. He is on the roll. Now watch him get hit here by Reggie White of Memphis. He has Doug by the right arm. Watch Flutie's left shoulder when he goes down. All the weight of White comes down on the top. And late word today is that Flutie was checked at the Meadowlands and that he will be out for the remainder of the regular season. Now we have some final scores to report in Major League Baseball this afternoon for you. The Cleveland Indians defeated Toronto 5-4. That is the first game of a doubleheader, so finally the Blue Jays have been slowed up. Meanwhile, Detroit bounces back after losing 2 to the California Angels. They win the third game this afternoon, 4-3. Darrell Evans hit a solo home run in that game. Baltimore routs Oakland 10-1 was the final in that game. And over in the National League, the Pittsburgh Pirates have shut out the Atlanta Braves 5-0. De Leon and Holland combined on a 2-hitter for Chuck Tanner in that game. Now, the Kemper Open. Many of you saw that here earlier this afternoon on CBS, and it was won in dramatic fashion. Watch this putt now on the 18th as we have Bill Glasson. He trailed Mize at the time. Mize was a couple of holes behind him when Glasson rolled it in. Now, the great story about that young man is he's one of the longest hitters on the tour, and this course, of course, favored him, so he was able to beat Mize and Pavin. The other thing is he was the last man on the tour to be given a qualification this year, and now he comes through with an enormous victory in the Kemper Open. We're going to come back now, and Pat O'Brien will tell us all about basketball European style. More specifically, what goes on over in Italy when they pick up a basketball.
Hot cars and fast tracks will set the pace this month on CBS Sports. Next Saturday, 12 of auto racing's top drivers will duel on the Mid-Ohio Racecourse in the second event of the International Race of Champions Series. June 16th, we'll put you behind the wheel with Bill Elliott as he defends his title in the Michigan 400. And June 23rd, Formula One cars will race through the streets of Motown at the Detroit Grand Prix. All coming in June on CBS Sports.
This is CBS.
Gens Ryan, your independent plumbing, heating, and cooling dealer, presents the bold look of Kohler bathroom fixtures and an exciting selection of Whirlpool baths. Gens Ryan has a Whirlpool to fit most home space requirements. For example, the Infinity Bath has room for two, with 4 air jets to fine-tune the water action. Kohler Whirlpool Baths and Spas, available from Gens Ryan, your plumbing, heating, and cooling dealer. See Gens Ryan today for a special 15% discount on Kohler Whirlpools. Call Gens Ryan at 423-1144.
I like this one better.
Why? I'm just curious.
Just tastes better.
Craig Brazil just picked Blatz Light over his regular light beer.
Miller Lite. Blatz Light just tastes better.
Really?
I'm usually a Miller Lite drinker. I'm very surprised.
Why?
Oh, it's beer capital of the world. There's a lot of different beers here, but here was my opportunity to try something different, and I was surprised. Blatz Light definitely tastes better.
Taste test Blatz Light yourself. Compare the quality, compare the price. And if you're a regular beer drinker, try Blatz Regular.
We improved the new Ford Escort in a lot of different areas. We improved it in the area of performance with quicker acceleration. We improved it in the area of efficiency with better gas mileage. And now we even improved it in the area of financing with a new low 8.8 annual percentage rate, which is quite an impressive offer on a car already the bestseller in this area.
WCCO Television, Minneapolis, St. Paul.
Back at the half here at the Forum, Pat O'Brien gets all our exotic trips. We used to send him up to Alaska to cover a dog sled race. This time we sent him over to Europe, to Italy, to take a look at basketball. How was it, Pat?
Thank you, Brent. Life is tough, you know. You know, Brent, anybody who has the talent, they want to play in the NBA. Be part of 276 of the athletes they call the world's greatest athletes. But what if you are 277, 278 or below? Well, about 60 Americans this season felt they still had some game left in them, and so they traveled halfway around the world to Italy. And a while back, as Brent said, we did as well to see that country's fastest growing sport.
Italy, centuries of tradition on display. Virtually everywhere you look, there is history, beauty, a mix of the old and the young. And young and old know Italians' favorite sport is soccer. But go around as we did and ask what their second favorite pastime might be, and they'll most likely tell you basketball, a sport made famous here by Americans.
In America, Boston Celtics, Los Angeles Lakers, 76. 76.
Ah, Bernard King, Larry Bird,
Gus
Robert
Williams.
Parrish, Gus Williams.
Magic Johnson, Larry Bird.
Moses Malone.
Larry Bird.
Moses
Larry
Malone.
Bird.
Larry Bird. But can you give me a ticket to go to the Forum?
Some parts of Italian basketball make you feel at home, but along with the American touch, there is a lot that is pure Italy. Pizza instead of hot dogs, and cappuccino and espresso to keep you warm. But on the court, there is a 30-second clock, a wider key, and there you see a shorter three-point line. And the contact is brutal. And there are a couple other hazards. If the refs or opponents don't get you, the fans will.
Tonight's game is between Livorno and Cantu, being played at the Palazzo di Sport. It's a home game for Livorno. The fans have been here for about an hour and a half, and the players have been working out for about 45 minutes. The reason for that is that it's freezing in here. Another hazard of playing Italian basketball.
I've been cursed at, things thrown at me, spit on, insulted, everything, you know, so I wear my raincoat to some games when I know they're going to spit on me, you know, so...
You have to get it in your mind that you're not at home. This is different, and you can't expect the things to be like they were at home.
Yet there are rewards. Take Mike D'Antoni. 10 years ago, he came here from Kansas City. He has become a dual citizen, and in his hometown of Milan, he's like a matinee idol.
La penna, Gabri, la penna.
In the NBA, I was a third or fourth, fifth guard, sometimes sixth guard on a five-guard team. But over here, you become the star.
Abdul Jelani, another case. At best, he was a journeyman during his days in the NBA. He, too, has found a life for his family on the Mediterranean, and he'll take that any day.
I think you get a lot more attention, and this is for players that maybe just have average ability, nothing great, and you're treated, you know, just like Jabbar or Magic, and it's a super lifestyle here.
But there is one thing that is even more pronounced for the Americans in Italy, and that is that you have to win. No, make that, you must win.
After a loss, the first thing the coaches, the fans, everybody looks at is, well, how did the Americans do?
You didn't win the championship or at least make the playoffs and semifinals. Then they'll get 2 other Americans. You know, there's always other players they will get.
Oh, and there's some things you must get used to over here. Lots of socializing, lots of possibilities to gain weight, and the nightlife can be amusing or abusing. As for the Italians, they've learned something from the Americans, persistence. But no matter how hard you might try and try and try again, some things just never change. Some Italians like wine, some like women. You like basketball.
No, first, I like women, I like wine, I like spaghetti, and then basketball.
A Sunday afternoon stroll through Italy. You know, Brent, they're going to need all the espresso they can get because the next 4 games in this series, if it goes that far, they will be watching in Italy. This broadcast in Milan, it begins at 3 in the morning. They're going to need that espresso. Arrivederci, Brent.
Pat, I want you to know that this man with me, Doug Moe, is the greatest American who ever played in Italy. That's what they still tell me, that you were #1 over there when you went there.
You must be losing your mind, Brent. I've never been #1 any place.
How much money do you make when you go over to Italy and play as you did following? Hey, look at that crew cut you had when you came out of North Carolina, and then you went over to Italy, and there is your son David up on your shoulders in 1966.
Totally disgusting, Brent.
How much money did you make over there as a player?
Well, to tell you the truth, my first year I made $6,000. That's a lot of money back then.
How about the players now when they go over there? Are they well paid, Doug?
I think they're well over $100,000. They're pretty well paid.
Looked like pretty good social life, though. You must have enjoyed that.
It was terrific. I had my wife and 2 kids there, and for me, for a lot of people, it's a tremendous situation. The fans are great. It's just a lively situation, and I wouldn't mind living back there again.
Doug, when I last saw you in the Fabulous Forum, you were standing up and raving at referees, pointing at the bench, getting blown away, I might add. What's it like watching the Forum crowd and not having to coach?
Well, it's a lot better when you're not having to play the Lakers and someone else is playing them. It's a little bit distracting when you're getting beat by 30 points and you're struggling, you just want to get out of there. But this game today, watching this game is a thrill because both teams are really getting after it.
Now, let's take a look at a couple of moments in the first half. Byron Scott, for example.
Byron Scott, they wanted to get him off the mark early, and they ran the first play for him. They think he's very important to their scoring. Here's a play where he just comes down the court and shoots the 3. This was late in the half after he had been struggling, and he comes down and hits that, and that got him going, and he's going to be a factor the second half.
Now, what do you think the Celtics will try to do with their inside game in the second half?
Well, Brent, they're going to go into McHale. They're going to go to McHale and to Parrish down low. Worthy's doing a terrific job on Bird, and I think that they think that McHale's a guy that's going to carry him.
And this was a moment from the early part of the game.
And they went to him a lot, and they're going to go to him a lot in the second half because the game is going to slow down a little bit.
It will slow down.
I think it'll definitely slow down. Both teams will get a little bit more conservative the second half. The first half was terrifically fast-paced, and it was exciting first half. Now it's going to be a little bit more toe-to-toe. I think the team that does run it and push it up will have an advantage.
Doug, what about the play in the backcourt by the Celtic guards here this afternoon, Dennis Johnson and Danny Ainge?
Well, they haven't been as noticeable as they have in the past games. And with Bird struggling a little bit and doing a pretty good job on Bird, and those 2 guards, Ainge not being a factor hitting that outside shot because he carried him in those first 2 games, I think they're going to have to come alive the second half to give those big guys some room inside.
I still can never get you to get a tie up all the way and button a shirt.
You know, I was gonna button it up, but I was afraid my friends would make fun of me.
All right, coming up, it's the second half of Los Angeles. The Lakers and the Celtics. The Lakers with the lead, and remember, we are even in games.
After a few hours of digging these trees, boy, you know you've been working. When I get a chance to relax, I head straight for a Milky Way bar. Sit back, think about playing ball tonight. It's great.
You get the goodness of a quarter cup of milk in every bar. There's milk, natural cane and corn sugars, and thick, thick chocolate in a Milky Way bar.
Good old Milky Way. Life's not all work, you know.
A Milky Way day. helps you work, rest, and play.
At $63.95, you could like the all-new 1986 Mazda B2000 SE5 for its price alone. Or for its radial, spoker wheels, sporty stripes and mirrors, step bumper and double wall bed, all standard. And of course, there's the $63.95 price, plus the surprisingly roomy, quiet interior with a 5-speed. And that $63.95 price means you can now experience a sporty truck priced close to Toyota's and Nissan's base trucks. Mazda SE5.
In the beginning, man's feet walked free. But the road to civilization was paved, so man developed shoes. Soon after that, man developed athlete's foot. Good God. Today, there's Mycotin. Mycotin cures athlete's foot. It's the only athlete's foot medicine you can buy with myconazole, a patented ingredient recommended by specialists to cure athlete's foot. Mycotin in spray, powder, or cream. Mycotin, the end of the road for athlete's foot.
The Lakers lead 65-59. Dick Stockton and Tom Heinsohn back here at halftime, and this is a Laker kind of score. If they can get 65 at the half, it's that kind of pace, even though Doug Moe had said that he predicts a slowdown in the second half, and I know that Tom would feel that the fast break could determine this thing. L.A. has outscored Boston 15-1 on points on the turnover. Normally the Lakers don't score that much on turnovers, but they have in this game, and they have run on the turnover to the tune of 15-1. The fast break story, the Celtics had a 10-4 lead at one time, but the Lakers had run off the last 14 fast break points, so they have that 18-10 matchup. Now, the forwards, Tom has talked about the Kevin McHale situation and all the people that are guarding Kevin McHale. McHale leads or has 16 points, but they're making him work. The other three Lakers have 14 and have used 7 fouls, but McHale's going to be a man that they go to in that second half. The rebounding story, which is another factor that usually determines the outcome of this game, the Lakers have out-rebounded the Celtics 24-21. So we're back. Any news from the front line, Tom?
Casey's concerned about their half-court offense. Riley wants the Lakers to get running more.
Here they are. They're running more. And Kareem is within 2 points of breaking Jerry West's playoff record. They come right out with a running game, and an 8-point lead is the biggest of the ball game for L.A. As we're marking, Tommy, this is an L.A. kind of score, getting 65 at the head.
Absolutely, Dick, and the pace has gone back to the Lakers.
Ainge silences it from the moment with a corner shot, but the Lakers pushing it up. Boston back. Scott going strong inside the basket. He definitely has turned his game around in this one.
Well, that little change-up of matchups is freeing Scott this time.
Kareem was guarding McHale, who goes in. Rambis is starting the second period, spent most of the second half, most of the first on the bench. Worthy, Magic Johnson, Scott, and Kareem. Open is Magic. Worthy. Went right past and split the defense.
Worthy being guarded by Bird, as we said before, a tough matchup. The Celtics have not adjusted to it.
He's on Bird now. Magic helping out. Bird gets Magic in the air on a fake air ball. Here comes L.A. And Ainge gets him from behind.
You know, Ainge is under the gun, Dick. Magic is playing him. Here's Worthy underneath. Watch him just take it to Larry Bird and gets by him. He's got that great quickness and that fantastic leaping ability. Once he faces up, you're almost dead. Kevin McHale is the guy the Celtics want to guard him.
Ainge's foul is his third. Scott. McHale out to Bird, who is 4 for 15 and has missed his last 6 shots.
With Magic guarding Ainge, however, it allows them, the Lakers right now, to key on Scott because Ainge can't get back to him quick enough.
Bird. Drops for Larry Bird, who has 12 points. McHale with 18 leads the Celtics. Kareem has 18. High point man for L.A. A little more than 2 minutes gone by, third period. Rousing game so far. 1-1. This is game 3. And Bird knocks it away out of bounds.
Now, that was an example of him playing free safety and trying to help out. They have total disregard for Rambis outside. That allows Bird to wander.
It hugs the road with bulldog tenacity. It's warranted for 30,000 miles, yet it costs under $30. This impressive automotive accomplishment isn't in the car, it's on the car. The Sears Guardsman Radio. 2 steel belts and a 30,000-mile warranty for less than $30.
There's more for your life
Confidence installed.
at Sears.
Being there. That's what being a State Farm agent is all about.
When Scott and Vicki started to outgrow their insurance, we got together and reviewed it all. The new house, a second car, life and health coverages too. A State Farm family insurance checkup can be a big help. It's free, and it's there because things change. And like a good neighbor... Right, Jason? Yeah! State Farm is there!
For all those people who never could warm up to computers, Lotus introduces Jazz. Jazz, the business software Macintosh was invented for.
Tonight, a celebration of the New York theater's finest talents. Year after year, it's the most entertaining award show on television. The 39th Annual Tony Awards, tonight.
The Lakers maintain a 6-point lead over the Boston Celtics. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is on the brink of an NBA all-time record. He would break this man's record. Jerry West, the general manager of the Lakers. Magic Johnson had broken his assist mark. But that's what happens. One of the greats ever to put on a uniform, Jerry West.
And I remember him well in these playoffs. What a competitor, Jerry West. Couldn't stop him.
One regret is he never got a ring against the Celtics. James Worthy. And now the Celtics come back. Bird. Bird hits 2 in a row, but that was more like Bird's liking. 4-point ball game now.
Bird has to be very intelligent, went to go for rebounds, went to turn Rambis loose.
Magic misses. Kareem keeps it alive. Into Abdul-Jabbar. There it is. There it is. 20 points for Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And he has established an NBA playoff scoring record. He already is the all-time leading NBA scorer. Broke Wilt Chamberlain's record last year. Harris misses a close-in hook shot.
Can't afford to miss those. Look at Magic steaming up there.
And he draws the foul, and Dennis Johnson was with him step for step.
You know, there's the man that really has to have the determination and will. Magic Johnson. The Celtics are determined not to let him get this fast break started, and it requires extra energy on his part to push the ball up.
Here's the hand for Kareem.
All Kareem wants to do is get on with this ball game and win it.
Magic hits both. 8-point lead. The Celtics had a 10-point lead midway through the second period. McHale with 20 now in the ball game. So it's 2 out of 3 games. He has scored 20 or more in this series. Johnson short. Rambis trying to tip it up, but he was over the back of Larry Bird and commits the foul.
Larry Bird is so cute that he knows when to go for the rebound. That time he took Rambis on his back and knew he had good rebounding position. Now they're trying to get the Celtics, from what Casey Jones told me, McHale further involved, and the most dramatic concern for Pat Riley is stopping this type of thing.
McHale going in again. Rambis. Lakers pushing it up. Key man today has been the man with the ball, Byron Scott. Steal by Ainge. Magic Johnson is with him. And Ainge misses the shot. Worthy looking to knife his way in. 19 for Worthy, 15 of them in the second period.
They love to get the ball to Worthy quickly before any kind of double team can develop against them.
Timeout, Boston.
How many shakes can you get from one disposable shake?
Monday. Tuesday. Wednesday. Thursday. Friday.
No one makes a sharp, long-lasting disposable quite like
Saturday. Sunday.
How many shakes does your disposable give you?
The events we speak of here took place when a man's reputation was his most precious possession.
I implore you, my lord, not to take leave of your senses. I'll not compromise, Edmund.
Historians disagree as to when the dispute began, but we do know that many brave men defended their honor to the utmost.
There must be some other way to settle this, Lord Croydon. Stand back. Only this way will honor be satisfied.
Good morning, gentlemen. You know the rule. Lord Henford.
Stand you ready?
I am.
Lord Croydon.
I am.
Then, gentlemen, take your ground. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For the last time, gentlemen, have you altered your positions? Tastes great. Less filling. Tastes great. Less filling. So be it.
No one knows how long the argument has raged, but one thing is certain. Light beer from Miller went on to become the favorite light beer of all time.
The Lakers lead by 8 with 7:42 to go in the third period. Byron Scott, who grew up 14 blocks from the Forum in Inglewood and was really tested by the Lakers when he joined them in a trade that was controversial, has played a major role in the Lakers' surge here.
I think particularly an adjustment at halftime. Pat Riley and his staff recognize that the Celtics are keying on stopping Magic's advance, and DJ trying to get back to Magic has left Byron Scott open, and they are really looking to get him the ball quickly. They know he can get out in the open court before Danny Ainge can get to him.
Rebounding has determined the winner virtually every time these teams have played in the last 2 years, and the Lakers have a healthy 7-rebound edge. Bird going to work, 16 points for Larry Bird.
And the Celtics make an adjustment. Here's DJ stopping Scott, then going back to Magic.
Kareem, the record breaker, just edged his way in.
Can't let Kareem get that kind of position.
Got no resistance.
Parrish afraid to pick up that extra foul.
Parrish has 2 personal fouls, so he is not in foul trouble at this point. Goes in. Johnson, Magic Johnson off the glass. A familiar sight. Rambis. And it'll count. Foul. Good hustle by Kurt Rambis on the offensive glass.
Well, once they got the ball up, Rambis hustled up and got himself good offensive rebounding position, but the part that really had me flipping out was Magic's determination to push it past both Kevin McHale and Dennis Johnson.
4 fouls on Danny Ainge. Rambis misses the free throw. Magic Johnson's rebounding has dwindled in the last 4 years. He really hasn't been a rebounding power, but there was an example of what he used to do. Ainge misses. Kareem clears. 6.5 remaining.
The Celtics have missed a couple inside and now a couple outside. Here comes Mr. Inside for the Lakers.
Worthy left open. 21 for James Worthy, and he has come alive in this game.
Kareem is playing him like a banjo right now, that set offense.
Bird has a drop for him, but Bird matches Worthy. Nearly halfway through this third period, a 10-point Laker lead. It's a tremendous turnaround. Boston had a 10-point lead in the first half. Worthy right now is unstoppable.
Every time Bird is on him, they're getting the ball to Worthy.
Worthy and Scott, the two silent partners for the Lakers in the first two games, come out strong. Ainge with only his second field goal. Trading baskets not going to do the Celtics any good at this rate.
They've got to play some stiff defense here, the Celtics, if they hope to get back in it. Because this set offense is just working beautifully for the Lakers.
Magic Johnson with a three-point.
Confidence? They sure have it now, the Lakers.
Three-pointer by Magic Johnson. And tight defense at the other end by L.A. Dennis Johnson misses. And they're going to jump it. And Rambis is at the bottom of that thing. Pat Riley is out. Casey Jones comes out as well. Tommy, it's not the first and it won't be the last between these teams.
I'll tell you, the physical element to this game, Dick, is unbelievable. Here's Bird. Watch him go after it. Can't quite hold on to it, but in his own inimitable style, hits the deck. But look at Superman after it. And the Celtics with Danny Ainge. And then, before this thing is over...
I think Larry Bird was trying to tell Ainge to relax.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
The crowd is on its feet here at the Forum. This is game 3. Celtics ran away with game 1. The Lakers played a terrific game in game 2 in Boston. The game is split at the Garden. First of 3 here at the Forum in a pivotal contest. Out of bounds. Boston ball, says Earl Strom. And now Ray Williams will check into the ball game, replacing Danny Ainge, who gets booed. There's Ray Williams.
Well, they're hoping Ray Williams can perhaps penetrate a little bit and find an open man.
Ray Williams is an open man. And Rambis tears the rebound. Greg Kite is also in for Boston to give Parrish a breather. Worthy fires up an air ball.
Well, look how quickly they got the ball up to Worthy's hands.
Dennis Johnson against Scott. Off the mark for Bird. Scott out of the pack is fouled. Foul at the other end. The shooting percentage, the Lakers, a rousing 65. Don't forget, they set an NBA shooting record during the regular season.
And not all easy shots either, Dick. Not layups. Some real tough shots by Kareem and also James Worthy.
Foul was on Dennis Johnson, his second. I don't think there have been many easy shots in this game.
No.
Either side.
They got Greg Kite in now, going to lean on Kareem a little bit and try and intimidate him, and immediately he gets one for leaning hard.
That's the 15th foul, though, against the Celtics, Tommy, and that puts them in the penalty with 4:15 to go, and Kareem will go to the line and shoot a pair. Cedric Maxwell comes into the ball game. Scott Wedman will join him. Larry Bird gets a breather, and so does DJ.
This type of substitution pattern, though, will bring in 3 fresh players all at once, and they may not be in sync with the ball game, and it'll be an opportunity perhaps for the Lakers to bust out even further.
They bring in a good outside shooter in Wedman and an inside man in Maxwell.
Well, Craig Kite, not too much of an inside man. Maxwell will have to prove it that he's got his game back if they hope to have an inside game.
Missed both, but the Lakers have it back, and Byron Scott had a chance for a 3-point shot and missed everything.
Well, McHale's still in the ball game. And now they're going to Lakers find out who's going to guard whom.
4 minutes to go, third period. Kareem and McHale with a terrific shot. Reverse layup over Kareem. 22 for McHale. And Worthy comes right back. He's got 25.
McHale not contesting that shot now, worried about picking up his 4th foul.
And Rambis whistles into where the Laker girls have their pom-poms.
Here's McHale using his quickness against Jabbar. Uses the basket as sort of a pick move to squeeze it off the glass. But look how quickly Rambis goes after that ball after it goes through the net. A commitment to speed and getting that break started.
Kurt Rambis, who has played with a vengeance here. He has only 2 points in the ball game, but Rambis has 6 rebounds and an average 8 coming in. Mitch Kupchak and Bob McAdoo are in there, so now the Lakers have to match reserves with reserves.
Well, Kupchak in there right now, get caught for leaning on McHale. I think what the Lakers are really trying to do is bait Kevin McHale into losing his cool by being very physical with him. So far, he's only got mad half of one time. That's pretty tough for an Irishman.
A whistle, and Pat Riley shows his anger and is hit with a technical foul. Earl Strom has given a technical to Pat Riley. The personal foul is on Mitch Kupchak.
Again, his job is to get in there and really lean on people.
5 fouls on Kupchak, and Riley got the tee.
But I believe Earlstrom is doing a very, very good job in trying to keep those people who are using those fouls deliberately in check.
If you're an official coming into this game, Tommy.
Here's Kupchak fighting for the position, Dick. And that's what he's there for, to lean, make Kevin McHale work hard, sap his strength. And look at him push. He can't move at all. The official right there watching him. And they're calling that type of thing now. They want to clean up the game.
Yeah, after the Lakers dominated the aggression in game number 2, and you come into this ball game, what is your mindset if you're a referee?
Well, when they know that's happened, they want to make sure it doesn't get out of hand, because they're expecting perhaps the Celtics to come back and retaliate. Well, with at the power forward spot to use 24 fouls potentially against one player, there's a chance that he's going to blow his cool and start a fight.
They have controlled it, but they've also let him play.
The other thing is that the McHale and Parrish can't be as physical as those players guarding them, because they are so important they can't afford to have a foolish foul themselves. I wouldn't want to be in McHale or Parrish's shoes, particularly McHale. I would have gotten mad a long time ago.
Maybe the first minute. Michael Cooper, you saw, came into the ball game, and he's guarding Scott Wedman. So they don't want Wedman to get anything going with his outside shot. Cooper gets a hand on it and forces a steal. And here's Worthy.
There goes Swifty.
27 for James Worthy. Cooper caused it. He is denying Scott Wedman. Ray Williams open on the left side. Hits. First basket for Ray Williams. 12-point lead for the Lakers.
J.C. Jones hoping this unit can chop it down to at least 10 points, maybe under, and then come back strong.
Slapped away.
Robert Parrish.
Cooper for 3. Biggest lead of the game for the Lakers, thanks to Michael Cooper. And it's now Laker ball again. Michael Cooper has come on and has made a definite impact in the last minute with a defensive steal, a three-point play, and another defensive play.
So I hop in the Nissan and drive to Kelly's Hardware.
Kelly have it?
No, he didn't have it. So I hop in the Nissan and I drive to Walt's.
Walt have it?
Nope. So I hop in the Nissan and drive to Bob's.
Bob have it?
So I hop in the Nissan.
With this Pulsar NX, nobody minds running errands. Nissan turns a minor trip into a major pleasure.
So I hop in the Nissan.
If you're looking for the latest in sporty, fun-to-drive cars to take you around town in style, the name is Nissan.
For over 60 years, people have trusted Rust-Oleum to protect metal from rust. Now, after helping protect things in yards across America, Rust-Oleum is hitting the road. Rust-Oleum introduces the first complete line of products formulated to prevent rust on cars. New body fillers, touch-up paints, even waxes. They all protect against rust so your car will look better longer. Nobody fights rust like Rust-Oleum.
Families have come to us.
They believe in liberty, Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Our house is special to us, so we shopped around for homeowners insurance.
Liberty Mutual gave us the right protection at the right price. We believe in liberty.
America believes in liberty. Liberty Mutual Insurance.
It's a glamour race for 3-year-olds, the 117th running of the Belmont Stakes, live from New York's Belmont Park next Saturday on CBS Sports.
Game 4 of the NBA World Championship, live 9 o'clock Eastern here at the Forum, Celtics and Lakers. Tommy, since the Lakers trailed by 10, they have scored 57 points in the last 17 minutes. That's astronomical, and I think pace has a lot to do with that.
Game 2, they did not push the ball up in the second half. Here they are, and this is the consequence against the tired Celtic team. They can blow right by them.
Bird back in the ball game. Celtics will need him. Kite the rebound on Worthy's miss. Worthy's the game-high scorer right now with 27. Worthy is guarding Larry Bird. Into Maxwell. Slapped away by McAdoo. And here come the Lakers. Magic Johnson. Now they slow it. But the fatigue factor could take its toll the way they're pushing it up.
But Casey Jones has his second unit in there, hoping that they can just calm the Lakers down a little bit.
McAdoo is hit on the hand as he goes up, and he'll go to the line and shoot a pair.
They're throwing haymakers at the Celtics right now, and Casey has thrown in the guys who are the sparring partners to take the blows. And if they can hang in there and smother the Celtic fast break for just at least a little bit.
Foul was on Greg Kite. McAdoo hits the free throw. When you have your second liners in and you're down now by 16 points, how much are you trying to make back of this margin with only Larry Bird in of the big weapon?
Not too much, but you got to hustle and they're hoping to bang. But Riley's counted with his second unit, and they're still flying.
But his second unit includes McAdoo, and I see he's got Cooper, Magic Johnson, and Worthy, who picks this off. That's Chuck Nevitt, who's 7 feet 5 inches.
But Wedman is playing the guard position, and he just threw that ball away.
And he's fouled going in. McHale on the bench with 22. The Lakers are running to their heart's content to a 28-12 advantage in fast break points to this time.
When they start fast breaking, it seems the Lakers grow bigger, and then they start running faster.
I know Wedman's playing guard now, and Bird is playing up front, but Cooper is not watching Bird. He is guarding Wedman. Why?
Well, same type of thing to try and take Wedman's outside shot away from him.
So, in other words, your best defensive guy, you say, well, don't worry about Larry Bird.
Not at this particular point.
1 minute to go in the third period. Johnson runs Buckner into a screen. Yes, yes, called for traveling. No basket. Under a minute to go. And a 17-point lead by the Lakers, who at one time were down by 10 in the second period. Maxwell gets in and gets the basket.
This might be a good occasion to really test Maxwell. Let him go, get his legs underneath him. If he's got it, he can show it in 5.
11 seconds on the shot clock. McAdoo, who has come off the bench to score 17. And any time you get 100 before the end of the third period, you're doing pretty well. And the Lakers are up 100-83. Shot clock shows 9. Buckner left open. Hits with 2 seconds to go in the period. Worthy fires it, and that'll do it. That's the end of the third period with the score. The Lakers 100, the Celtics 85. We'll return after this word from your local station.
This is CBS.
Between the hours of 7 a.m. Friday morning and 6 p.m. Monday evening, there's something happening in the Twin Cities area that's never happened before. The biggest car sale in history at Coon Rapids Chrysler Plymouth. Now, here's what's so extremely unusual about this sale. We've taken 160 of our best one-owner used cars and given them all special prices. And any that aren't sold, by Monday evening at 6 p.m. will be offered at wholesale to other dealers. But before we offer them at wholesale, we want to offer them direct to you at reduced prices. Here's two examples of the kind of prices you'll find. An 82 Plymouth TC3 for only $19.95 and a 78 Buick LeSabre for only $15.95. We're only going to have this sale one time this year. If you're going to buy a used car anytime this year, don't miss what may be the biggest used car sale ever held in the Twin Cities. It's only at Coon Rapids Chrysler Plymouth, and it's going on right now.
WCCO Television, Minneapolis, St. Paul.
Jordan!
You need more than just natural talent to make it in the NBA. It takes a lot of hard work and good coaching. These Special Olympians are just starting out, but they're going to make it in their league, too. If you want something great to happen, encourage mentally retarded people to join Special Olympics.
Write Special Olympics, Box 19106, Washington, D.C.
It gives us all something to shoot for, together.
The NBA on CBS. Today's playoff game from Inglewood, California is sponsored by Light Beer from Miller. Everything you've always wanted in a beer and less. Chick Disposable, the disposable razor made to stay sharp and shave close. Shave after shave after shave. Jazz from Lotus, the business software Macintosh was invented for. And by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately?
Dick Stockton and Tom Heinsohn at the Forum. The Lakers lead by 15, trying to take a 2-1 lead in the best of 7, and Robert Parrish is coming back in the ball game, replacing Greg Kite. So Parrish and the Celtics trying to make a run with 4 of their starting 5, except for Buckner in there now. McHale, the leading scorer for the Celtics, with 23. McAdoo. 19 for Bob McAdoo off the bench today.
They keying on Larry Bird. Whoever he's guarding is getting the ball.
Making him work on defense. Taking something out of the starch out of his game offensively. McHale with a familiar move, now with 25.
They'll turn him loose a little bit now, I think, the Lakers.
Magic Johnson. So now the Lakers hitting from outside.
Well, they have the total game going now. Layups, hook shots, and outside shots.
Turnovers into fast break baskets, you name it. And illegal defense called against the Lakers.
Against Jabbar, I believe.
You're right. It is Kareem.
They're trying to position Parrish way up above the circle. That means Kareem cannot go below the circle to help out on McHale. There it is in isolation.
And McHale is fouled. First time on it was, of course, a warning on the illegal defense. Second time, it's a technical foul.
Well, Pat Riley said when they put their center out in the parking lot, we're not going to let Kareem out of the lane. But watch how far out Parrish is at the middle of your screen, and Jabbar way down in the paint.
Foul was on McAdoo, his third. Dennis Johnson for 3, short. Celtics with Buckner. Steal. Magic Johnson. I guess this is what is known as showtime, Tony.
They got their makeup on. They've done their hair, and they're on stage, these Lakers.
Dennis Johnson in the lane. Will go to the line. Danny Ainge will come back in. So will Byron Scott for the Lakers. Scott with 12. Been a big factor for LA in their running style. The Lakers rear guard has done Considerable damage, and Magic Johnson goes out, having scored 15, and a big part of that.
I think the Lakers solved the problem of unleashing their fast break, and then added on to it in this ball game by incorporating Scott into it. He was relatively quiet in the first two, but he has been a factor here, and so has Cooper in the backcourt. The other man playing the backcourt other than Magic.
Magic, by the way, also has 14 assists and 8 rebounds, so that's a typical Magic Johnson triple-double kind of game, although he doesn't have double figures in boards yet. McAdoo, air ball. Worthy saves it nicely. Cooper. And the Lakers are brimming with confidence right now. That's the way they were during the regular season, and that's how they came into the championship series.
I'll tell you, the Celtics looked very poor that time in allowing that rebound by Worthy.
A miss by Dennis Johnson. Bird gets it into McHale. A Laker foul, but Larry Bird made a fine play. Foul was on Kareem. That'll be his 4th, but it's Lakers by a big margin right now.
Giving that extra effort makes winners. The All You Can Be, sponsored by the U.S. Army. Boston's Dennis Johnson stands out as one of the best two-way players in basketball. Johnson boasts an effective jump shot that he is unafraid to let fly at any time. But DJ is most renowned for his tenacious defense, and his hard work often results in 2 points for the Celtics. A 5-time NBA All-Star, Dennis Johnson always seizes the opportunity to be the best he can be.
Technology is taking over the world. You can keep up with it, or you're going to be left behind. That's why I joined the Army.
From microchip circuitry to laser technology, the world's largest school for high-tech skills is the Army.
Bravo, go active. Bravo, lock, 05.
Be all that you can be.
I don't intend to get left behind.
Find your future in the Army.
Tommy, the Lakers are playing awfully well, but they're getting very little resistance from the Celtics.
I'll tell you, I think right now the Celtics have turned their minds off and gone south on the last, at least particular play. Is an indication of what can happen if you don't charge and play hard for the rebounds. If the sort we're going to see on a replay, Worthy just outfoxing everybody, stepping inside and not being contested at all. There's no way that you should get a rebound like this. And now watch the second part of it. Cooper just taking it in with nobody really contesting him. That is not Celtic basketball. So I think perhaps the Lakers have used their will to dominate the Celtics like we talked about at the top of the show.
The foul story. So Casey Jones has a big assignment here. He's got to try to regroup this team. Now, we have plenty of time. We've just gone by 2 minutes and 5 seconds of this 4th period, but the Celtics at this point have given no indication that they're going to challenge this game at all.
It's a tough. I think Casey Jones in that timeout had a lot to say to this team in green. One of the things that a Celtic coach will say is, you represent the Celtics, gang, and we fight to the last second of a ball game and don't roll over. But they sure showed signs to me.
McHale with 27. Bird 18, Parrish 17. .940 remaining. Every one of the Lakers seems to be playing well, but they turn it over as Cooper and Worthy, and that was the first time they looked sluggish in the last 8-9 minutes or so.
Very difficult for the Celtics to come back in flurries like the Lakers can. They don't have the speed. They have to peck away, and the time will eke out before I think they make a big comeback.
Haynes misses a three-point shot. Keep in mind the Celtics, who are down by 18 at halftime in Game 2, made a great run and came within 4 before the Lakers held them off. 9:10 to go, 17-point lead now. And now they call Boston for the illegal defense. So each side has been called with one.
They try to isolate Larry Bird that time to get the illegal defense called on him. McAdoo is way above the three-point circle, and Bird was below the foul line.
Magic Johnson is back. Look at the shooting in this game by the guards. Dennis Johnson has missed his last 6. He's 3 for 12. Danny Ainge 2 for 7.
But that is what happens when you start chasing guys like Magic and Scott all the time. You lose your legs, and that's an important part of the outside shot.
Foul on Larry Bird. That's his 4th personal foul. They can check that. Kevin McHale with his 4th personal foul, and Kareem shooting. The Laker coaches felt yesterday that if the Celtics were not effective shooting from the outside, they would not get that inside game going.
Well, when you pack it in, like they're doing with Magic Johnson, they're daring people a big double-teamer that can get right at the big guy. Celtics have been trying to isolate Kevin McHale, but that's not going to do it.
Ainge, now 2 for 8. Byron Scott with Dennis Johnson back. Passes in and taken off by Bird. Grabbed the ball away from McAdoo. Points, biggest lead in the ball game. Parrish against McAdoo inside. McHale again, no basket, and a foul before the shot. Loose ball foul against Magic Johnson.
The Celtics were victims of a lot of turnovers, and it might not be, it's not such a good idea for Wedman to be playing that guard when they're having trouble with turnovers.
Bird. Larry Bird, if you said Casey Jones was annoyed at what he saw out there, I'm sure Larry Bird is too.
Well, he is such a competitor, Dick. And so much on the line. He's been carrying this team emotionally for the entire season, and he's not going to give up. I know that. And it really revolves around some of these other guys to get in and stick a nose in somebody's jersey, like Dennis Johnson and McHale right now. It's come down the end of the ball game. Get in there and get physical.
5 fouls on Bob McAdoo. Kurt Rambis replaces McAdoo, who goes out with 19 points. You know, Tommy, if Kareem gave each man a pep talk before game 2, if the Celtics go on and don't make a run here, maybe it'll be time for number 33 of the Celtics to talk to the players.
Well, you know how the Celtics get. We saw it last year in the playoffs. They closed the locker room door and talked to no one and just scream at each other. And Bird's the leader of all of that.
Pass, Johnson, Rambis, 2 points. Kareem, Magic, and Rambis. Inside passing at its best.
Ah, that's the defense really breaking down. Shouldn't be able to do stuff like that.
Cooper. Fouled by Dennis Johnson. So you're saying now that the Lakers can do anything at will right now.
Boy, here's a great inside pass. Watch the bounce pass be right through the entire defense. A nice lay down. The Celtics' feet not moving.
Ray Williams back in. Ainge goes out. Celtic guards have been struggling from the field.
Well, Danny Ainge has had a problem with the double groin pull. So they're trying to rest him, I think, at this point. But Ray Williams looks like a very confused ball player in this particular game. Maybe he's going to turn him loose and see what he can do.
Robert Parrish at 17 in the first half. Hasn't scored yet in this half. Dennis Johnson. And Magic the rebound. Stop. Cooper. Rambis. And the Celtics come back. That usually is automatic for Larry Bird when he's wide open.
Well, the pace of the game, they have taken the starch out of the legs of the Celtics.
Rambis inside. Well, that's the Laker answer to the so-called Eastern dominance.
Boy, could I go for a nice cold light beer from Miller. So I thought I'd just pop in at my favorite hangout and have one with the guys. Well, the whole gang drinks light. Oh, sure, there's a lot of other light beers around, but we all agree that light beer from Miller tastes terrific. And get this, it's less filling.
John, how many times have I told you, use the door, huh?
I forgot, I'm sorry.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
Like I was saying, light beer tastes great. And another thing.
The essence of climbing. John Bacher.
You gotta know the rock, every inch of it. But what gets you over is a feeling that says you're going all the way.
The essence of shaving.
This is the Gillette Good News disposable razor. Light, easy to handle, twin blades. But what Good News is really all about is a feeling. A feeling you only get from Gillette.
Good News and Good News Pivot from Gillette. The essence of shaving.
AT&T is in customer satisfaction. Our people helped Pillsbury design a feedback line using AT&T 800 service.
Can I freeze the cupcakes?
500 calls come in every day, which makes Pillsbury very happy because satisfied customers come back for more. We can help your business in ways you never thought of. AT&T Long Distance Services, the better business machine. Talk with us. AT&T, the right choice.
The Mid-Ohio Road Course could favor IROC's Grand Prix drivers in the second event of the 1985 International Racing Champion Series next Saturday on CBS Sports.
They love it at the Forum in Inglewood, where it's turned out to be a Sunday afternoon party for the LA Lakers. For those who are curious about the timeout story, the Celtics would like to maybe get 15 points in a row to make that a factor, Thomas. Leading scorers for the Celtics, McHale, 27, and Worthy, 29. The shooting in this period, a big edge for the Lakers. 1 for 10 for the Celtics. Ice cold. Don't forget the Celtics shot 60% in game number 1 when they won by 34.
Yeah, but remember what happened in the Denver game? You run so hard against these Lakers, all of a sudden those outside shots are just a little bit more difficult because you don't get up quite as hard.
Hale from Bird. Basket is good and a foul. Good pass by Larry Bird. They continue to go at McHale, and as Tommy mentioned from the start, he is seeing a whole army of defenders from the LA side.
I tell you, what a tough job for him to withstand all of that. He's got to show right now what's the difference. Go out and get physical himself, that he's willing to go out and bang with anybody. And if he fouls out now, what's the difference?
5 fouls, speaking of fouling out. 5 on Kareem. 1 more and he's out. McHale now has 30 points in the game. Scott. McHale the rebound. Celtics with Ray Williams. Greg Kite is in the game.
Oh, yeah.
And it's Lakers ball. Parrish is on the bench right now. Not sure whether he'll return. And Rambis.
I doubt whether Parrish will be back, Dick, because of that hip injury. But the Celtics are going to have to come up with some kind of strategy to really contain the fast break. They had it for game 1, I think, primarily because the Lakers didn't expect as tenacious a defense as the Celtics gave them in game 1.
Well, if you want to talk about a test of wills, the Lakers have enforced their will.
They sure have.
It is still Boston ball. 5 seconds will be on the shooting clock. 5:55 remaining in the 4th period. Lakers 116, Celtics 96.
Well, there's a man about to report in for the Boston Celtics momentarily. Cedric Maxwell, who they want to, in the last 5 minutes, really look at.
Here's Max.
If they hope to really do some damage against this Laker ball club, this man has to play like he played in last year's playoffs, injury or no injury.
Larry Bird, sorry, Tommy.
One of the things that they're concerned about, they think he's healthy, you know, physically. It's just that psychologically he's reacted poorly to the injury.
Buckner. And Byron Scott. Kareem running the court. Foul by Quinn Buckner. Bird and Dennis Johnson went out of the ball game. Johnson 3 for 14 had missed his last 8. Larry Bird has 20, but it's been a quiet 20.
Well, he missed some real big outside shots, Larry, and he was taking the bulk of the defense. They were going right at him. Worthy is guarding him, so when he goes up the other end of the court to play defense, he has to stay with Worthy until McHale, who the Celtics much prefer to play Worthy, can get to him. And the Lakers are really keen on that. As soon as Bird ends up with Worthy, they're getting him the ball.
Over Kareem hits. 118-98 with under 5 to play. Byron Scott. Whitman. Back up 5 in there for the Celtics. And Buckner with a good flip over the outstretched arms of Kareem.
And Kareem's still in this ballgame. That's a surprise.
With 5 fouls, but that foul situation doesn't matter anymore, neither does timeouts. Ray Williams defending against Magic, who hit. And things are going well for the Lakers. You have no chance. They don't lose leads when they get their game going. Williams looking for 3, can't do it. Rebound Rambis. Tied up by Ray Williams, and they're not done yet. Never seen Rambis that mad. Lost his glasses somewhere. Well, and Ray Williams didn't like what Rambis said to him. For the second time in the game, both coaches are on the floor. Will be out, ejected from the game.
You know, Dick, when a team elects to use their fouls like the Lakers did, it creates a tone for the game of being physical. The Celtics are totally frustrated at this point because they know they can't use those same number of fouls. But here's Ray Williams in frustration, and Rambis trying to free himself. A real frustration situation by Ray Williams.
This is a very tough game to officiate under the circumstances, and I think these guys have done a great job, even though we've had a few flare-ups. I really do. You mentioned it earlier, Tommy. And I think they really have kept control with the tempers the way they are here. Earl Strong and Hugh Evans.
But a bench player tries to make his mark when he comes in a ball game and not be intimidated by anybody. And Ray Williams is saying, even though you're bigger than me, pal, you're not muscling me around.
Let's face it, Tommy, the Lakers, the last 2 games have been beating the Celtics at their game.
That's because they have a willingness to use all their people up front.
Kareem is on the bench.
It's a sheer, to me, Dick, it's a sheer matter of numbers of players they're willing to play and use the foul.
But you have to be inclined to do it, and the Lakers, until now, have not been inclined to do it.
Well, they've used Rambis and Kupchak, who showed the way, and the rest of them have chimed in the same way.
They didn't use it last year. Maybe that's what the Lakers needed all along. His magic shot goes over the top. 4 minutes to go.
Imagine what this team would have been like if Kupchak had had a healthy knee for the last few years.
They had counted on a lot from Mitch. A healthy Mitch Kupchak would have been something. McHale. Foul inside. Byron Scott. There's Larry Spriggs. Can you imagine a game like this and Larry Spriggs hasn't even played till now?
Well, here comes the other guy.
Oh, you know what does this mean that KC is putting Carr in there now?
Well, he just wants him to play a little bit. I don't think it means that he wants to, say, ML, square off with somebody.
No, but
quite
he
the
can
contrary.
Make your presence felt. ML.
Yeah, well, ML always does that.
Magic Johnson goes out. 17 points, 16 assists, and 9 rebounds. Magic averaged 12.5 assists in the first 2 games, so he is having a tremendous playmaking series thus far. 1 out of 2 for McHale, 31 for Kevin. 121 to 101.
Now let's look at some the likes of Kite.
Kupchak foul going to the hoop.
There's a guy who may play a lot of minutes in the next few games, Greg Kite, in response to Kupchak play.
Is he ready for primetime action?
Well, they didn't use him a lot during the season. That's why I like to watch him for the next couple of minutes and see if he's really could be a factor in this thing. In one game, he played pretty effectively off the boards, but that was the Celtic blowout.
Keep in mind, the Lakers averaged 131 points in the playoffs coming into this series. And this is their kind of game. Game 4 will be Wednesday night here at the Forum, 9 o'clock Eastern. Wedman banks it in. The Celtics starters, spectators at this point. And a foul against Larry Spriggs, and Mike McGee, who didn't play in game number 2, has checked in. Byron Scott, 12 points, goes out of the game, and Quinn Buckner is injured. And Ray Melchiorri has to come out to him at midcourt. Timeout called by the Celtics. KC is out there as well. They're looking at his right wrist. We'll be back to the Forum after this timeout.
When you drive a tough Ford truck, there's one place you'll want to be.
On the road again. My Ford truck and me on the road again. Work or play, there can't be any tougher friend. I can't wait to get on the road again. On the road again. Just can't wait to see what's around the bend. When you drive a Ford, you're driving with a friend. My Ford truck and me on the road again.
When the big Q flows, America goes.
Hey, that truck runs. A Fisher & Son doesn't.
Only gets the big Q. Quaker State.
Well, you can depend on number 1.
Fuel pop, they start with Pennsylvania grade crude.
Nothing like Quaker State.
It's a one-of-a-kind formula. Stable viscosity, keeps the oil flowing, protecting, no matter what.
No substitute for quality. I got 2 great partners.
Quaker State. The big Q stands for quality. Always has, always will.
Morning, Miss Stevens.
Good morning.
Mr. Lewis.
After you buy IBM equipment for your business, we don't stop trying to make it even better. And if we make an engineering change, as part of our maintenance agreement, an IBM service representative will stop by and make the change.
You ask it. Good as new? Better than new.
Our service representatives don't just keep your machines running.
Take care.
They make your machines run better.
He said it was better than new.
Think he can fix a 53 Studebaker?
IBM.
It appears that Quinn Buckner has injured his forearm. Ray Melchiorri, the trainer, has taken him to the dressing room, and it happened on this play, apparently.
Well, Buckner has to pick up a flying big wingman and took the knee right in that right forearm. Not backing away. The charge was called on the offensive man, on Spriggs. That's a tough knee. Bob McAdoo says he hurts his teammates when he's playing offense, let alone defense.
Carlos Clark is in the ball game now. Hey, Spriggs has been a good addition. He started 32 games for the Lakers this year. 3 minutes to go in a Laker runaway. Boston led by 4 at the end of the first period. Spriggs hits outside. Then the Lakers scored 40 points in the second period to take a lead that they haven't relinquished. M.L. Carr misses a three-pointer, and Scott Wedman inside. Another rebound for Rambis. He's got 9. He has been a solid rebounder for 3 games for the Lakers. 2.5 now. Inside, Cooper to Spriggs. On the line, they say, so it's...
You know, Dick, when you have a blowout of this proportion, as we're looking at
Chuck Nevin.
Chuck Nevin coming in.
That's what Parrish did in the second half. Here's Chuck Nevin, who is 7 feet 5 inches.
That's big.
Ex-Houston Rocket.
Everybody had a shot at him, and they all try to fatten him up. And that's the extent of their weight program. He still looks like a splinter.
Mike McGee drills it 3-point from outside.
But as I was saying, Dick, when these coaches go back, particularly the Celtic coaches go back and dissect this game, and Larry Bird gets a mad on, watch out in Game 4.
Remember a year ago, of course, the Celtics won by the Celtics were beaten by 33 points in the third game, and everyone said this series is over. The Lakers are invincible. They took a 2-1 series lead, and then the Celtics came back strong and won a gutty overtime Game 4, and things changed. Here at the Forum, game number 3 turned out to be a Laker runaway. They beat the Celtics at their own game, the physical game. They ran away from them, and they had everything going full blazes. And with James Worthy scoring 29 and Kareem coming back with another solid game at 26, the Lakers imposed their will, at least in this contest, on the Celtics and are headed for their second straight win in the series. And Pat Riley said, if we can hold the Celtics to 44%, we'll beat them. He's held them to 43 in this game.
One of the things that they did so well was cut off the inside game. Even though McHale did score in there, he really had to work hard for those points. And then they got their fast break going. The first thing of order for the Celtics is to stop that fast break, get the ball out of Magic's hands.
And they couldn't hit the outside shot. The Lakers were able to pack it in inside. We showed McHale. He scored 31, but he worked very hard for that. And the Lakers kind of achieved what they wanted to do because they were able to play physical with all those people off the bench.
Well, that's a tremendous advantage for a coach to say, hey, look, I want you guys to really lean on the people underneath there, and I don't care if you get a foul. So they do it because the coach tells them to do it.
Carlos Clark, second year from Ole Miss, on the line.
And the Celtics don't have that luxury because their key guy, Maxwell, who will be a reserve, is not 100%. And there's an experienced other big guy, Greg Kite, that in case he doesn't have faith in.
Ronnie Lester, the insurance point guard, bringing the ball up. The report on Quinn Buckner, he has a contusion of the right forearm. No break. But Buckner is another injury that the Celtics have to deal with. But as Red Auerbach said, we have had players shaken up before, and it's the playoffs, and you come to play regardless of your aches and pains or worse. Lester is on the line. Ronnie Lester, actually after Magic Johnson, is the only other legitimate point guard on this team. K.C. Jones is going to have to go to the drawing board with Chris Ford on the left and Jimmy Rogers in the center. And they got to start with the boards, wouldn't you think?
No question, but with all that banging in there, there's a happy bunch of assistant coaches, Bill Bertker and Davey Wall on your right. Pat Riley down on his knees, thanking the Lord above.
Height inside, blocked by Chuck Nevin. You can do that when you're 7 feet 5 inches. 1:14 remaining. He is a popular guy, as you might imagine, with this crowd. Doesn't get in much. M.L. Carr hits. Rebounding. L.A. has an 11 rebound edge on the Celtics.
I think Mitch Kupchak set the tempo and the character of what was going to go on for the rest of the series now as far as the Lakers are concerned in that game 2. And Pat Riley picked right up on it and said, look what Mitch did for us. Why don't you guys do the same?
Kupchak has had 2 solid games for the Lakers. And he said, without question, there's no other team I'd want to sacrifice my knee for than the Lakers. And he really has had to do all that.
Well, he could have sat back and collected on a fat contract for a number of years. So that's kind of dedicated guy he is. As you're looking at kind of fouled up knee, I wouldn't want to have it. I don't think anybody else would have either. But what determination to come back and play and now be a part of a big win.
Every Laker on the roster has scored in this game. And that's not ballet you're looking at out there. I'll tell you that much.
And when Nevitt goes down on the floor, man, that's a long go down.
Tommy, right now, let's look ahead to game number 4. Wednesday night, 9 o'clock Eastern on CBS. The Celtics, with a big first win by 34, have been beaten twice in a row, and they're licking their wounds. What does KC look to do?
Well, KC first has to get their heads back together and make them believe that they can win. This is a pretty impressive win for the Lakers here. They did it in several different ways, in an intimidating style, not just with the speed, but with muscle.
ML Carr with a turnaround. I'll tell you what, I agree with you. I think KC's going to get the message across, but I also think another guy will too, Larry Bird.
He is Mr. in the locker room. When you want to have a guy like him on your team, it's a second coach as far as emotions is concerned.
20 seconds to go. Big day for the Los Angeles Lakers. Foul. Larry Bird scored 20, but it was a quiet 20. 8 for 21 from the field, and he really has not shot well in the 3 games against the Lakers.
But look at his face. He's saying, I want the next game on Wednesday. I want the next game on Wednesday.
And the Lakers, of course, know, unlike last year, they have 2 more home games now. The series doesn't go to Boston for game 5. We'll see what kind of a factor that is as the series goes on, but the Lakers will take them one at a time, and it was a day in which Kareem Abdul-Jabbar broke Jerry West's all-time NBA playoff scoring record. Laker ball with 8 seconds to go.
Nevitt certainly gets out into that passing lane when he sticks that arm out there.
Celtics had a 10-point lead midway through the second, and the Lakers went to work. They scored 57 points in the next 17 minutes, and they never looked behind. Ronnie Lester. Right at the basket. And the game is over. Briggs gets the basket. The Lakers have taken a 2-1 lead in a rousing 136-111 victory. We'll be back to the forum in just a moment.
I tell you, there's nothing like a hot steam bath and a cold light beer from Miller.
That's the truth. Light doesn't fill you up, so you can sit back and relax a while.
Ah, that tastes great. Hey, Ben, how about another cold one?
Me too.
Me too.
Me too.
Hey, wait a minute.
That ULC?
I didn't say anything.
Uh-oh.
Whoa, get out of here.
Hurry up,
I got my hat.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
You are about to see what may be the most dependable film laboratory in the world. A lab that develops pictures not in hours, but in seconds. That makes taking great pictures remarkably easy. That delivers your pictures right to you, anywhere in the world. And where can you find this lab? Right in the palm of your hand. Polaroid instant cameras do what no other kind of camera can do.
Look at my watch, it was 9:31, so I called my baby, said let's have some fun, and we rode. Riding on the river. We were riding on the river, rolling from the break of dawn.
The new Honda Rebel. Everything you ever wanted in your first motorcycle, only $12.98.
And we rode, riding on the river. We were riding on the river, rolling from the break of dawn.
If you lived in a perfect
perfect world, you'd cook on something very like the Weber One Touch. It would give you perfect barbecue flavor because it would circulate heat like a convection oven to keep meats juicy. It would last for years, and it would clean itself with just a touch. Of course, you don't live in a perfect world, but you can cook on the perfect barbecue, the Weber One Touch. From the biggest name in your backyard, Weber.
They believe in Liberty Mutual Insurance. Families that put their confidence and trust in our experience.
We're Liberty Mutual for your auto, home, life, and business insurance.
America believes in liberty. Liberty Mutual Insurance.
The Lakers win it, and they take a 2-1 lead over the Celtics now in this NBA World Championship Series. And Doug Moe, a couple of things now. The Lakers are much more aggressive than they were last year in the championship series. It's like they've taken a page from the Celtics. Throw enough fouls at another team, and they won't call all of them.
It's not even close to the way they were last year. They're twice as good a team as they were last year, twice as physical, and it's going to be tough for Boston to come back, but don't count them out just because they got blown out in this game. I think they may end up turning around and winning the next one.
All right, now let's go down to the Laker locker room. Here's Pat O'Brien with James Worthy, and Worthy came to play today, Pat.
He sure did, Brent. 26 points, 1 rebound. What got into you today? This is your first big game of the series so far.
Well, this was an important game for us, and, you know, I struggled a little bit in the first quarter, but I just had to continue to shoot my shots. You know, once the momentum switched our side, we really didn't get into our game until about the second quarter. So once the flow started going and my shots started falling, the confidence started getting a little better.
You did have a lot of confidence, as we saw one of your dunks there, James. What about the physical nature of this game? This seemed to be it was a very physical game.
Well, we know that's the way Boston's going to play, so we're prepared for that, and, you know, we're going to hold our ground and play physical. No, that's the way they play, and you have to meet fire with fire, I guess.
Now, you say you know Boston likes to play. You know they're going to come back at you.
There's no question. And I think, you know, we've won a battle. The war isn't over yet, so we have to come back with the same intensity on Wednesday.
All right, speaking of intensity, James, let me get Kareem in here, the captain of the team. Congratulations on the scoring title, but that's not what you're interested in right now, is it?
Not at all. No, we want to win this.
What about the physical nature of the game? I was just talking to James about it. Is this going to continue throughout, do you think?
I would imagine so. I think a lot of their success is based on the fact that they can rebound well and get offensive rebounds. We can't let them do that. I got to say hi to my mother.
Say hi.
Say hi, Mom. I love you.
Let's talk back about the game again, Kareem, about the scoring title and everything. You seem to be answering to your critics more this time.
I'm not worried about my critics. I'm not trying to please them. I'm just trying to do this for the Lakers, for what we work for all year. That's the most important thing. All the rest of that is superfluous.
How do you feel about the record? Let's talk about the scoring title for a while.
It's a great title, but the things that I've been involved in with the team have always meant more to me than the individual achievements, and I still feel the same way.
As James said, of course, it's not over yet. Last year you were up 2-1 and faltered a little bit and lost it, actually. What about now? What's your plan going into Wednesday?
We don't have to change anything. We have to continue with more of the same, and it's going to be tough. Whoever wins this series is going to win a very, very tough series. It's going to be tough. It's going to be physical, and both teams want it, and we'll see who the best team is.
Chuck Nevitt was on fire today.
Well, I think everybody's ready to play. None of our guys is going to take any steps back. We're going to go for it, and we're going to play hard.
All right, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and let's go back up to Brent Musburger. Brent?
All right, Pat, thank you. And the man who turned it around was 38-year-old Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. He did it back in Boston in Game 2. We'll be right back.
Hey, Bobby, toss me the flashlight. Here, catch.
One reason why a Durabine flashlight is so dependable is because it's so incredibly rugged. Another reason is it comes with Duracell batteries that'll work, even after lying around unused for 2 years.
I can't believe you threw that. You said toss me the flashlight.
Durabine from Duracell. It really works when you need it.
If he sinks this putt, he wins the tournament.
Hold it! Can anyone here name a copier maker that's bigger than Ricoh?
Xerox.
Ricoh's bigger.
IBM?
Rico's bigger, and we got to be bigger than Xerox by making a full line of copiers that win top marks for quality.
Illuminating.
Now, are you still overlooking Rico? Call Rico. We respond.
That's a gimme.
For some years, our friends overseas have been drinking only Pepsi-Cola. But recently, they started drinking Coca-Cola. And now, our friends drink Coke and Pepsi only. But somewhere, there are people who go out of their way for the taste of RC Cola. A taste that's unrestrained. Yes, some people go out of their way for the taste of RC. But sometimes, not far enough.
How will the Celtics respond Wednesday night? Well, let's go down to the man who knows, Casey Jones with Pat. Pat?
Thank you, Brent. Brent just said, how will the Celtics respond Wednesday night? I'll throw you the same question.
Well, I went to a nice rib place last night. Had some great ribs, and my wife had some fish, and I got to watch cholesterol, you know. But oh yeah, your question.
At least you can still smile, Casey.
Yeah. Look, we got out of the program. We had a game plan there that started off very well, and where we got off base was that we made a couple of turnovers, and all of a sudden Magic is running the ball up the court. They have their fast game going, and we just totally got out of kilter and lost it. And that's about it in a nutshell.
Are you concerned at all about injuries to your team? How is Robert Parrish? How does he seem now?
Robert, he's functioning well out there. You know, you got to play with injuries, and that comes with the territory. Larry is whipped, you know, the elbow, the ankle, and everything else. But he's out there playing. So it comes with playing in the finals. It comes with playing with any game. Injuries was not really a factor in this ball game.
It's not over yet, of course. Where do you look to besides yourself for leadership on this team now to bounce back?
Well, it's got to be all the guys. Well, Larry's got to bounce back. He's getting his favorite shots out there, and nothing dropped for him. Hi, Mom. Kevin McHale was doing a good job for us. Dennis Johnson was working good, but L.A. hell, they just came out and did the job.
Okay, gonna go for ribs tonight?
So the wild bear sleep in the woods.
Let's go back up to Brett.
All right, Pat, thank you very much. Doug, another factor about the game. You thought the pace would slow down here in the second half.
That's right, Brent, and I was right as usual. They just took it to them. The Lakers just kept coming at them. They talk about the physicalness of the series. That'll even off because both teams are going to be physical. But if the Lakers run like that, Boston's in deep trouble. And if they can keep that pace going throughout, I don't know if Boston can withstand it.
The Lakers have a deeper bench, and that started to show today.
It showed today, plus the emergence of Scott and Worthy back onto the scene, and that's got to worry Boston a lot.
All right, Doug, thank you very much for being with us here on this Sunday afternoon in Game 3. And for Doug and Tommy Heinsohn and Dick Stockton and Pat O'Brien, I'm Brent Musburger saying so long from the Forum in Inglewood, California, where the Lakers have won it 136-111. Now, Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, it's Game 4, and it figures to be the toughest of the series so far. The Celtics and the Lakers, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, Wednesday night on CBS. The NBA on CBS has been a presentation of CBS Sports. So long.